Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and coming up here live on today's show, I saw the discussion on social media if the New York Jets were to offer a first-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo because Garoppolo and Saleh go all the way back from their time for the 49ers together, should the Las Vegas Raiders consider it? I'll give you my answer here on today's show. Then, since seems to be what people want to talk about, I got 6 blockbuster trade ideas for the Silver and Black that maybe actually makes some sense. Also, I got 5 predictions that are guaranteed to happen up against the Buffalo Bills. We're going to be doing a Raiders jersey giveaway coming up here on the show. The way that you enter, and yes, it's going to be a duck race. $10 super chat for your chance to win a Raiders jersey, courtesy of Brandon Jasper. We'll do a duck race at the very, very end of today's show. And as always, if you want to get those shout-outs, you want to get a question on here, hashtag Raiders or Super Chat, Raider Muerte, send them the good vibes. I see you. So let me know down in the comment section, but actually wait. First off, could everybody please welcome in Mr. Jeremy Jugs.
Let's go!
What up, Mr. Chugs? I got Martin, J. Duke, Enrique, John Scheffler. You in for the jersey. But I love what he said. He goes, I'm in for the jersey, but I'm just doing it because I love the duck races. The duck races are absolutely electric. Also, shout out to Sarah Otto and the entire Otto family. I will mention, I'm not drinking today.
There's some players, they do it for the money. They do it for the glory, the fame.
Yep.
Some players, they just do it for the love of the game.
Hey, and
that's John Scheffler.
The duck race is maybe my new favorite thing that we do here on the Raiders Report. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you'll see coming up here in at the very, very end of the show, because it was a big-time hit yesterday, and we have a lot of jerseys to give away. So, luckily, we're going to be able to do that here on today's episode.
For everybody joining us for our Tuesday show, we're also going live on Mondays. And, hey, yesterday it was $5. We have some different deals going on Mondays.
Correct.
So if you're a Tuesday watcher, make sure you tune in on Mondays as well now.
Correct. Live Monday, Tuesday, then Thursday night for the football games, and then obviously Raiders game day. We're going to be live here on the Raiders Report as well. We got 666 people watching. Somebody needs to either log off or click the share button to get more people here. Also, if you could, since I'm repping the Otto family, I want you to click that like button. I know the Queen would definitely appreciate it. Let's go to, again, get those questions, comments in. And how many games will the Raiders win? Raider Ryan says, Raiders, let's get it.
Also,
I'm in.
Venom Sosa, what's up?
Like the video, y'all, from the Queen. Patrick B., I second what Scheffler just said, what that guy said, what both those guys said. And then another one rolling in here from Die Hard Raiders Report fan. With the Aaron Rodgers injury that occurred, I'm glad the Raiders didn't trade for him. I hope we can take the Bills down, but it'll be a tough game. I mean, the Bills are going to be a tough game. The Jets defense is no joke. I know Josh Allen did not play well, but let's give some credit here to the New York Jets defense. They did play pretty dang well. I also don't know if the injury would have occurred if the Raiders would have ended up trading for Aaron Rodgers. MetLife Stadium has more injuries on that turf than a lot of other fields. It was a terrible injury. I'm kind of annoyed that I'm even talking about the idea of Jimmy Garoppolo going to New York. But when things are trending on social media, my job here as a host of the Raiders Report is to talk about those topics.
I just got to say, I'm a little hungry. I don't know about you.
You're hungry?
I'm a little hungry.
I was going to say.
I was outvoted for lunch.
Yeah.
We ended up getting salads instead of something else I wanted. So now I have Factor on the mind, Mitch.
Yeah.
And people might be asking, what's Factor?
Well, Factor is something that I've been using for quite some time. And if you guys want to get started, we got a brand new sponsor here on the Raiders Report. And today's live show is presented by Factor. 50% off with code RaidersChat. But what I want you to do is this, because I went onto the website before I came on the show, Giggity, and I looked up on the menu. And here were 6 things that caught my eye. If you all know who watch the show, Chugs and I are big-time foodies. Out of the 6 things on there, what would you pick? Would you go with loaded bacon shredded chicken, honey mustard chicken, red chili pork, tamale bowl, sorry, I got to get my glasses, creamy buffalo shredded chicken, pesto chicken and roasted mushrooms, or garlic, herb, and salmon? Which one would you guys pick down below? I think all of them look really, really good. Chugs, for me personally, out of all of those, I'm probably going to go with some pesto chicken and roasted mushrooms. Both of those sound great to me.
Sneaky option, honey mustard chicken, very good.
Ooh, that does sound really, really good. Now, I'll say this. If you're too busy this fall to cook, but want to make sure you're eating well with Factor, they're going to be able to help you do that. So you can skip the trip to the grocery store and the shopping, prepping, and cleaning up too, while still getting the flavor and natural quality you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy, then go back to crushing your goals. This September, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavored packed meals delivered to your door, ready in just 2 minutes, no prep, no mess. Head to factormeals.com/RaidersChat50 and use code RaidersChat50 to get 50% off. That's code RaidersChat50 at factormeals.com/RaidersChat50 to get 50% off. What's always crazy, and I always say I've been doing this show for so long, and it's a full 360. I know that I'm doing well as a host when I finally get a sponsor that my fiance Alex knows, right? I told Alex to go, babe, we got Factor now. She's like, holy shit, you guys got Factor? She's like, hook me up with some food. And now we're actually going to be able to do it. We got to do like a Factor meal challenge here. How many Factor meals can we eat in one sitting? You in?
Oh, I mean, I'm in.
Yeah? Hey, maybe we can make it work here. All right, y'all. Appreciate every single one of y'all.
No cake, though.
No cake, though. Yeah, that's the only thing apparently we can't get here. Appreciate every single one of y'all watching the Raiders Report. Got over 820 people in the building. My question to you is this, and if you haven't already, go vote at the live poll, because right now the live poll says 47% yes, 53% say no. So let's just say I almost said Green Bay Packers, the New York Jets get desperate, right? They're in win now mode. They don't believe in Zach Wilson. Robert's Law has already said that Wilson's going to be their starting quarterback, but I've seen it being thrown out there. The idea of it being floated out there that Saleh goes, I want Jimmy Garoppolo, somebody who I've worked previously with.
But Mitch.
Yep, but Mitch.
I thought the Jets don't have a 2024 first-round pick.
Hey, that's a very fair question. They do end up getting it back now that first-round pick turns into a second because of the conditional.
Thanks, Mitch. I'm glad I subscribed to the Raiders Report.
You're welcome. So, I've never heard you do the voice, and when you do it, now I'm just thinking about every time I did it and how I just feel like I'm talking to Elmo, but as a 30-year-old man. So, anyway, though, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, the New York Jets, they pick up the phone, they call Ziegler, they call McDaniels, and say, first round pick in 2024. Would you do it? Would you trade Jimmy Garoppolo for a 2024 first-round pick? Yes or no? Aaron says yes. Ivan says no trade. What do we have here? No from Freedom Fighter. Mr. says no, and no. Devin Smith, let him suffer, Mitch. This is how I would answer it. If you believe that the Raiders will not make the playoffs with Jimmy Garoppolo as their quarterback, you make the trade. If you think that the Raiders have a shot to make the playoffs with Jimmy G as the QB, then you don't.
Steel Cage.
That's how the answer is.
I'm going to go for the yeses.
Okay.
Scheffler, Steel Cage Savage, Short Doggo 4. Let's see, Aaron, Chad. They're all saying yes. Little Draco.
I mean, it's kind of split down, down the middle. If you think that this Raiders team can make the playoffs with Jimmy Garoppolo as the quarterback, you don't do the trade.
And if you haven't already, vote on our live poll. It's 53% no, 47% yes. Pretty close.
It's a different direction. There's a lot of different things that could potentially happen. Somebody said, yeah, and then you go out and try to get Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams has looked really freaking good. That USC team in general has looked very, very impressive. Let's roll through some super chats here on the Raiders Report.
Ooh.
Got almost 1,000 people in the building. And remember, today we're going to be doing a jersey giveaway at the very, very end of the show, courtesy of Brandon Jasper. If you want to be entered in for the raffle / it's technically a duck race to win the jersey, it's a $10 super chat here on the Raiders Report. Sound good? Can you do that? Hopefully. What up, Mr. Mister? What up, Miggy Camacho? He's saying no. If Miggy's saying no, then, hey. John Scheffler, thank you to Big Tuna. No doubt about it.
So I'm
definitely
having a little bit of trouble pulling the super chats right now. So the last three, Carlos 47, absolutely, I want Williams or May in the draft.
I don't know if you're going to get them. I think if you do this trade, it's the Raiders are that confident in Aiden O'Connell. They're probably going to try to roll with Aiden O'Connell as their quarterback. Xavier Claw, don't trade Jimmy and go Chugs. Xavier Claw, you're in for a chance to win. And then Patrick, it's week 2, not week 15. This is funny and irritating. I know it's funny. I know it's irritating. Also, you wouldn't be able to make the trade week 15 because the NFL trade deadline would be long gone by then. The deadline is November 1st. But these are the topics that start sprouting up when you have a major injury around one of the biggest names in the NFL, like Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, when that injury happened, I felt awful for NFL fans out there because you have Aaron Rodgers running out with the American flag, which was probably one of the coolest, entrances to a game I have ever seen.
F it. Aaron Rodgers 2023 highlights.
And then for it to end as quick as what it did, I mean, I don't know if I can, off the top of my head, I don't know if I can possibly think of anything like that. It was insane to me. Patrick, I know everyone out there. Believe me when I tell you that. I get it. I get it. What up, Scheffler? What up, the real G, Callie, Donnie? If you want a shout out here on the Raiders Report, I want you to start spamming Raiders right now because coming up here on today's show, I do think we have a entertaining overall group of shows that we have. I mean, we got a lot of trade stuff.
Going along with quarterbacks.
Yep.
I saw this debate heavily on Twitter.
Okay.
Is Josh Allen overrated?
Yes.
People think he's, second, third best quarterback in the league. Is he overrated?
I mean, I'm going to give a lot of credit to that Jets defense. Their front, the amount of pressure that they get when they only bring 3 or 4, it's pretty impressive. Do I think he's overrated? Yes, I do. Because Josh Allen without Brian Daboll, there's some question marks there. It's kind of like Bill Belichick without Tom Brady. I know Bill Belichick is a hell of a head coach, but is he as good without Tom Brady? The answer to that is of course not.
In his defense, Daniel Jones with Brian Daboll, not that good either.
But, I mean, Josh Allen with Brian Daboll seemed like a totally different quarterback. He made a lot of bad decisions. I mean, a lot of bad decisions in that Jets game. My question to you right now, and if you want to shout out, how many interceptions will Josh Allen throw against the Las Vegas Raiders? I'm here to tell you on today's show, one of my predictions, he's guaranteed to throw at least 1. And I'll tell you who it's going to go to.
Oh.
How many interceptions for Josh Allen on Sunday? Juan Hernandez says 5. If he throws 5 interceptions.
We're going insane on our live show if he throws 5 interceptions.
I can't guarantee it, but I'd bet on it. I'd bet you the turnover chain would break if he threw 5 interceptions.
Don't tell Trace.
Oh, he would be in shambles, man. Blue Richard says 2. Mr. 2. Jeff Garcia 3. Brian Lance 1. AX09. Must be a Bills fan 0. What do we have here? Gregory Kuna is going to go 4. Lil Draco 3. Anthony just says a lot. J Raider 84, you're up here on the Raiders Report. Yes, and still make the playoffs with O'Connell, then trade the first pick for multiple picks. Raiders 27, Bills 24. So you're saying that with Aiden O'Connell, they can make the playoffs. That's what he's saying.
If the Raiders win 27-24, free shot on the house for you, J
Hey, free shots for a lot of people if the Raiders beat the Bills on Sunday. Like, let's be real here. If the Raiders come away with a win and they start this season off 2-0, going into their home opener against the Steelers team that did not look good,
dude, if the Raiders,
there's going to be a lot of free shots on Sunday.
If the Raiders start out this season 3-0,
I might get a little worried, though, because the last time that happened, they started out 3-0, and then they also played the Chargers week 4, lost. I mean, that was a roller coaster of a season.
Also, Jay Rader, you're so in.
Jay Rader, this guy's in, man.
Every $10 super chat, we're doing a Raiders Report jersey giveaway today. Every $10 super chat, you're entered to win. We're going to do a little duck race at the end to see who wins it. But so far, we got 6 people in the duck race.
Oh, man. Autumn Wind Raider, how about new Dr. Evil voice?
How about new?
That's a stable team for one season, please. I mean, me being the Raider fan up here, like, I can understand people wanting to trade away Jimmy Garoppolo to get a first-round pick, but you have to be super, super confident in Aiden O'Connell. I'm telling you right now, the players in the locker room would throw a fit if the Raiders traded away Jimmy G. Like,
I agree.
The players in that locker room love Garoppolo. He is one of the leaders. He's one of the team captains. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to happen. Again, we're just spitballing up here.
We're just spitting.
But they would be really, really upset. Little overrated. He turns the ball over a lot.
And he was on Madden this year, so.
Dude, I didn't even think about that. The Madden curse. He does turn the football over way, way too much, which maybe that kind of falls into what he tries to do. Like, Buffalo just lets him go out there and play backyard football.
John CCO, I would trade Jimmy if O'Connell starts, but Josh McDaniels wants to start Hoyer, so I would keep Jimmy.
I don't think that he wants to start Hoyer. The whole Hoyer conversation is that's who they want as the backup because literally, and this is maybe one of the biggest reasons why the Raiders won't trade away Jimmy Garoppolo is they don't want to rush Aiden O'Connell. They view Aiden as a potential QB for the future. They do. And for that reason, that's why it's Brian Hoyer as QB2. They don't want to rush AOC at all. That's something to think about. What up, J-Rowe? Aaron Rodgers makes $8.8 million this year. He averages 425.5 pass attempts over 18 years. His one incompletion Monday cost $20,705. It's great math. It's phenomenal math.
I would throw one pass for that amount.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of when Trent Brown was making $76,000 a snap when he played for the Raiders. That's a number that will never leave my mind because he never played and how much money the Raiders gave him. But yeah, that's insane, J-Rowe. What up, Sean Baker? You in? Making the trade depends on if Aiden O'Connell is ready to go, correct? In the coach's eyes. Also hope I'm in. Wouldn't let me do exactly 10. You're in, brother. Also, it's a first-time super chatter from Sean. That's what's up, my brother.
Love to see it.
That's what's up, my man. Classic Man Q, you in for our Raiders Report
I'm a classic
jersey
man.
Giveaway. We're going to do a duck race at the very, very end of today's show. Got over 1,000 people in the building.
Look this clean, I'm a classic man.
Is that
coming on me like a real OG, I'm a classic man.
Coming on me like a real OG?
I don't think that's the word.
I think that's just the version that you sing. I don't know.
I don't know.
Coming on me like a real OG. If that's not, somebody clip that. Martin. I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you.
Do not do that.
That was an ultimate pause,
you know
man.
what? Let's talk about the duck race more.
If you want to enter our duck race, all you got to do is send in a $10 super chat for a chance to win. All you got to do, and we're going to do it at the very, very end of the show. Yesterday, we had an electric, and I mean an electric race. And I'm telling y'all right now, this is a great opportunity to get a Raiders jersey, and it's also more of a guarantee to get in the race. It's even more entertaining. Is Martin doing it?
He's doing it.
Martin's a legend. Martin's a freaking legend, man.
That's the one thing that we learned up here. Everything and anything we say, immediately, internet forever.
Hey, that's the one great part about the internet, though. I wouldn't want it any other way, right? I do think, like, the internet, like, doing this for a job, can teach you that you always got to be careful what you say.
100%.
But I'll go back and I'll watch some of these live shows because just like a movie, right? You can watch a movie a few times. There's things that I forget that you say, that I say, and then even like going down in the chat looking at some of the shit that they say, dude, there's some times where, I'm not going to lie, I go back and I watch our shows. I do it all the time. It's hilarious to me.
Calling on me like a young OG. That's the word.
Calling on me like an OG.
That's what I meant to say.
Coming on me like a OG. I don't even remember what you said. A cat monkey. Slap my name on that duck, coach.
Now he said it. Clip that, Martin.
And put me in.
Clip that.
Keep Jimmy G. Real one for life. Yeah, I mean.
Martin, clip that too, please.
The Raiders are not going to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo. It's just when top trending topics come up, I got to talk about them, and that's my job. What up, Ray? Feeling lucky lately. Let's go, Raiders. Ray, congratulations on the sex early. Hopefully you win the duck race. It'll make it a hell of a day, right? Hopefully it makes it one hell of a day. All right, Chugs, what I want to do here is I want to get into the rumors around Jimmy Garoppolo potentially going to the New York Jets. And
I bet you do.
What?
I said I bet you do.
Yeah, I mean, we got to talk about it, unfortunately / fortunately. If I see people bringing it up, my job here is to, talk about it and give my 2 cents. Then we're going to get into some blockbuster trade ideas that actually make sense. 5 predictions that are going to happen in the Raiders-Buffalo Bills game. Raiders jersey giveaway at the very, very end. And as always, if you're going to get those questions, those comments up on the show, use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat. What do you got? PG. We're sort of in win now mode. No trade. I'm in. That's funny as hell, actually, by Autumn. PG. I mean, if you're 1-0, you should be in win now mode, right? You should be in win now mode. Chug's just sang the Niners anthem. Coming on me like a real OG. I'm a classic man. If you were to scream bang bang Niner gang after that, I'm convinced.
No lie, Chase sings that song every day on his way into work.
Bang bang. If you Googled bang bang Niner gang, I don't know what you'd get, man. I don't know what you'd get. What up, Ivan? Appreciate you, my guy. I got Jimmy.
You know what, Mitch?
What?
I've just been told by my boss, I want to start the show. I know you want to start the show.
I do.
The only way we can start the show
I'm listening.
Is if there's 1,000 people watching. If we get 1,000 LVs in the comment section right now.
How many?
1 LV per person.
1 LV per person.
If we get 1,000 LVs in the comment section, then we can start today's show.
All right. Hey, you heard it from Jeremy. I'm just the guy up here, and he's kind of leaving me hanging up on screen by myself. Jeremy wants you all to spam LV. He wants you to spam LV, and then he's going to end up getting this show started. So I'm asking you, I'm begging you, can everyone just type LV? That way Jeremy can hit that start button. He's still looking at me like, you got to get it up more. I'll give shout-outs until Jeremy decides we're at 1,000, though. I'm looking at the counter right now. We are getting somewhat close. Punchy Blue, Richard Stewart, UK Raider. What up, Sucker Free? I got Timmy Jones, Juan Hernandez, PG 2869. Mike Dawson, Venom Sosa, Freedom Fighter. I got Timmy Jones, Mr. We have Ignacio, Pat Beldez, Mr. Leahy Supreme, John Acalia. Dive in. I see you. What up, John? Don Wiggins, Matt O, Die Hard Raiders Report fan, TD24, Santos, all spamming those LVs down in the chat.
We got there.
Coming up here on the Raiders Report, there was somebody on social media talking about the idea of Jimmy G going to the New York Jets in a trade. I'm going to sit up here and tell you what I think about the entire idea and whether or not it is even worth talking about. Chugs, you ready to get this thing going?
Mitch! Yes, I am.
Are y'all ready to get this thing going? I sure hope so. Coming up right now, Jimmy G to the New York Jets, trade rumors. Yes or no? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. Should the Raiders trade Jimmy Garoppolo to the Jets? Let's say, hypothetically speaking, the New York Jets pick up the phone. They give Dave Ziegler, they give Josh McDaniels a call, and they said, hey, we're going to give you our first-round pick in 2024 because they do get that pick back because it was a conditional pick. I can explain more here in just a little bit. But if they offered you a first-round pick in 2024 for Jimmy Garoppolo, would you make the deal? Luckily for you, I'm going to be talking about it today on the Raiders Report. So I saw this tweet go out, and anytime people start talking about something, my job as a host here is the Raiders Report at Chat Sports. It's you see a trending topic, whether you believe it's true or not, I got to discuss it because guess what happened? This tweet goes out by Ted Wynn. Hypothetically, if the Jets offer the Raiders a first for Garoppolo, would you take it? I had so many people send me this that I was like, I got to talk about it on this show. Whether you like to hear that or not, I'm going to discuss it. So if you don't already know because you live underneath a rock, Aaron Rodgers was injured on his first drive for the New York Jets. 4 total snaps, 0 for 1 with the throw, and he's out for the season with an Achilles tear. And if you're a New York Jets fan, Dad, I'm looking at you. You might be concerned that, yeah, he's not only going to miss 2023, this type of injury at 38, 39 years old, this could be a career ender. So the question is, could the Jets then look to trade or sign another quarterback to compete with Zach Wilson? I get that Robert Saleh has already come out and said that this is Zach Wilson's team. What I would respond with that is, well, no shit. Like, what do you expect your head coach to say? He's going to already commit to Zach Wilson because that's the guy they drafted. But then what's also funny about that is it's already been reported that the New York Jets have started to reach out to veteran free agent quarterbacks. I do think the more likely scenario is that the Jets try to add a free agent QB because there's some halfway decent names out there rather than going and trying to trade for a quarterback on another team because there's not many quarterbacks that you're going to be able to pick up the phone and get them to come to the Big Apple, especially with that offensive line. And I love me some Jimmy Garoppolo, but Jimmy G can succeed with the Las Vegas Raiders because they have one of the best offensive lines in football. You put Jimmy G on that team with that offensive line, he's hurt in the first quarter just like Rodgers. So here's what we're talking about. Garoppolo potentially going to the New York Jets. Rodgers done for the season with that Achilles injury. Jimmy G was with Robert's Law with the San Francisco 49ers, and the Jets, they get their 2024 first-round pick back. So if you're New York, you're in all-in mode, right? Like, you know that you went all in trying to get Rodgers. You went out, signed a few key free agents. You made a few big deals. You have to win right now, and you don't believe that you can win with Zach Wilson. So do you try to pull this trade off? Do you try to do it? The Raiders, you get a first-round pick in 2024, so now you're rocking with 2. And then the New York Jets, they get Jimmy Garoppolo. My question is, whether you're a Raiders fan, whether you're an NFL fan, hell, we're going to get Jets fans down in the comments of this video. Would you do this trade? Who wins this deal? If you think it's the Las Vegas Raiders, I want you to type LV. If you think it's the New York Jets, then I want you to type NYJ. Coming up after this YouTube ad break is going to be my answer. My answer is both sides win this deal. I do think Jimmy Garoppolo is an upgrade over Zach Wilson. Yes, I would love to have an extra first-round pick in 2024. Who wouldn't? But the reason why that this trade is never going to happen, like, let me be very clear, this trade has less than a 0% chance of happening. Josh McDaniels does not want to put Aiden O'Connell out there too early. He doesn't think that he's ready to go, and they view O'Connell as the long-term option. Also, if you're the Raiders, you're 1-0. Like, there's no reason for you to trade away the quarterback that got you a win week 1 and a QB that is a captain on this team, because if the Raiders trade away Jimmy G, you're pissing off a lot of people in that locker room, which is the last thing McDaniels and Ziegler need. The way that I would answer that trade question is this. If you're a Raider fan that believes with Jimmy Garoppolo at QB, this team has a 0% chance of making the playoffs, ship him off to New York, get a first-round pick. If you're like me, where I do think that the Raiders have a playoff chance, they can make the playoffs with Jimmy Garoppolo, and as long as you got a fighting chance, Raider Nation deserves it, and all those people paying all that money for season tickets to go watch this team in Las Vegas, they deserve it too. So as far as I'm concerned, Jimmy Garoppolo ain't going nowhere. Coming up next here on the show, I'll admit, there is one trade that I would do with the New York Jets that it's so just asinine that they're not going to take it. But I would also be like, it's kind of asinine to even ask the question, could Jimmy G be traded to New York? So I got one deal, and it's the only deal that I'd be willing to accept from the New York Jets if they want Jimmy Garoppolo. But hey, man, got a brand new sponsor here on the show, and I always say, this show continues to grow and grow and grow, and from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate each and every single one of y'all that support this show. But if you also want to help me continue to grow, go support our sponsors as well. And we got Factor now here as a sponsor, and you guys can get one hell of a deal. So if you're too busy this fall to cook, but want to make sure you're eating well, with Factor, skip the extra trip to the grocery store and the chopping, the prepping, and the cleanup too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy, then go back to crushing your goals. This September, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door. Ready in just 2 minutes. No prep, no mess. Head to factormeals.com/RaidersChat50 and use code RaidersChat50 to get 50% off. That's code RaidersChat50 at factormeals.com/RaidersChat50 to get 50% off. I always love when I get a sponsor on this show that I've used in the past, and I also know it's like the biggest pat on the back I can get from Alex, where when she recognizes a sponsor that we have on the show, and she's like, oh, wow, you have that? Like, to me, I'm like, oh, that's dope. And I can remember about 2 years ago, I love Alex to the end of the moon and back. She's not much of a cook. She can cook some things, but I like a little bit of variety. And as you can tell, Chugs and I, we're foodies around here. So if you haven't already, I guarantee you're going to love this place. I know I did. Heck, the food was so good, even Chuck would be sitting there begging right next to me. Chugs is looking at me right now. He's like, bro, you got to go get some food. Factormeals.com/RaidersChat50. It's going to be down in the comments and in the description of today's show. So here is the only deal that I'm accepting for Jimmy Garoppolo. You give me Quinnen Williams, you can have Jimmy G. I'm okay with it. Like, yeah, first-round pick is great and all. Don't get me wrong. But I'll take one of the best defensive tackles in the National Football League because the Raiders desperately need a DT, and you can have Jimmy G. I'm okay with it. If this is the deal that I end up getting, cool. Guess what? It ain't going to happen. But you know what? For the shits and gigs, here we go. Would you do this trade or who wins it? If you think it's the Raiders, type Las Vegas. If you think it's New York Jets, then I want you to type New York down below. The Jets, here's the thing, man. They're never going to trade Quinnen Williams because the reason why that they're even trading for Jimmy Garoppolo is because they believe that they're in win-now mode. So to move on from your second best player on your team overall doesn't make any sense. The bottom line is this. Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to the Jets, and I can see right now in our live show, like, people are upset that I'm even talking about it. I'm annoyed that I'm even talking about it. But you also got to understand what my responsibility here is as my job. Bosses come in and they say, hey, Mitch, this is a big-time topic. You got to talk about it. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to listen to my bosses. I'm going to talk about it. So here's what the New York Jets could do instead of calling the Raiders because they're just going to be wasting their time. Here's some free agent quarterbacks that New York could potentially look at. And to me, there's 7 candidates. Like, there's a lot of other free agent QBs out there. I saw that Colin Kaepernick said, all I need is a shot. No, you don't. It's been 10 years, Colin. Like, let's move on from now. It's been 7. I don't know. It's been a lot of years. I also saw somebody throw out the idea of Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is still a member of the Indianapolis Colts. If he were to come out of retirement, guess what? The Jets would have to trade with Indy, and they would have to go and get him. And even if Andrew Luck came out of retirement, shit, they might trade away Anthony Richardson and just roll with Andrew Luck. Obviously, I'm kidding there, but I will say this from a positive standpoint, and there's going to be people that probably get mad at me for saying this, but I do this show because I do it for Raider Nation. And when the injury happened to Aaron Rodgers, selfishly, I said, that makes our jobs easier here for Raider fans. Like, that makes that Week 10 game a lot easier. Now I might actually buy my dad tickets to that game because it'll be a little bit less expensive. But that's how I looked at it. I would never wish injury to any player. But from the Raiders' standpoint, Aaron Rodgers, a 4-time NFL MVP on a good Jets team, goes down. Their Super Bowl odds went from I think it was plus 1,500 all the way down to 5,000 in one night. So guess what? this injury does help out the Raiders, and that's what I care about. How does it help out the Raiders? The Raiders' playoff chances, they go better. They go up. They get higher because the New York Jets now, to me, are a team that if Zach Wilson's the QB, you can have a great defense. It's not going to matter. They're not going to make the playoffs. There's going to be a lot of teams vying for those 7 spots. The Raiders' Week 10 matchup, it's easier now. Hell, they might even be favored in this game, which it's going to be something to watch. The Raiders' offensive line up against the Jets' defensive line is going to be one for the ages because both of these units are very good. But it makes it easier. And then maybe this is probably the thing that makes me laugh the most. Finally, the Devontae Adams to the Jets rumors can stop because my mind at times wants to just when I get people being like, do you still see that people on NFL national TV, NFL Plus, ESPN are still like, oh yeah, Devontae Adams, he could go to the New York Jets. He doesn't want to go to the New York Jets. Contract doesn't make sense. This is why all these things, I'm happy that I don't got to deal with this anymore. All right, y'all, we made it this far in the video. I appreciate you. Also, I see some people around there saying, well, we could trade Hoyer, and I laugh out loud because when I walked into work today, Jeremy, my tweet, if you saw it today, at Mitchell Renz 365, was actually Jeremy's idea. He goes, you know, like in the show Pawn Stars, where they're like, the best we can do is this. The New York Jets pick up the phone. They call the Raiders asking for Jimmy Garoppolo, and you're like, you know, the best I can do is throw in Brian Hoyer. The Jets, if you want Brian Hoyer, I think Raider Nation is more than okay with you going out and getting him. Appreciate everyone tuning in. I know this was kind of a wild and interesting show. Also, huge shout out to Sarah Otto, the Otto family. Overall, appreciate each and every single one of you. All right, how about this? Would you trade the 2024 first round pick? Wait, would you trade? Yeah, this is totally wrong. What is this? This makes 0 sense.
Look what you wrote down.
What? Would you trade? I don't know what I did. This doesn't make any sense, though. Let's go to a different question. I think I was just rushing at the end of it and kept it moving. Oh, it doesn't make any sense. Jeremy and I are going to be live. Eagles, Vikings, Thursday night football. Who you got? Philly or Minnesota?
I mean, you could trade a 2025 first-round pick for Aaron Rodgers.
No.
After the draft next year, yeah.
No.
I mean, it makes sense.
No.
It's not that it...
No.
Not, yeah.
Also, some news here. Aaron Rodgers has just been placed on IR, so there's that. We got 1,000 people in the building. Who do you got in this matchup? I'm also going to put on another jersey, so Chugs, take it away for a second here.
Oh, hold on one second. Here we go. My mind says Philly, but my gut says the Vikings. Just because they had a crushing loss week 1. The Eagles have been the Vikings' daddy. You think the Raiders have been the Broncos' daddy? The Eagles have absolutely come in and just adopted the Vikings as their own. They've just, you want some of this? You like that? Yeah, that's what the Eagles have done to the Vikings. The Vikings have a horrible loss week 1. A part of me feels like they're going to come out guns a-blazing Thursday night because you don't want to go down 0-2 to start the season. And I think the Vikings are better than that. I think the Vikings are going to eke this win out. That's just me personally, what I think.
Oh, man. Shout out to Joe. I almost said Joe. Jose Delgado. I do got to say, though, I'm not drinking today. So, Mr. Delgado, if you send in a $100, I appreciate it, but I will not be doing a boot. I just drink it for Thursdays and game days only during the regular season.
Who do you have on
this?
this?
That's it. And this game, I'm going Philly. I do think the Minnesota Vikings are due for a bounce-back game, but I'm also a big believer. Sometimes football can be as simple as who's the more physical team. Yeah. Minnesota has a lot of talent. Their team is soft. That is a soft football team. Philly's going to go in there and run train.
Seeps, when's the last time the Vikings beat the Eagles? It's been a minute.
Mr. says drink water. Okay.
2017?
I'll do a water boot if you guys want.
6-7 years since the Vikings have beat the Eagles.
Wow. It's a lot of years.
Including NFC championship games, playoff games, primetime games.
Yep.
The Eagles have just classic manned
Hey,
the Vikings.
I get it. Oh.
Let's go to some Super Chats.
Let's go to some Super Chats here on the show. What do you guys got for me? Now, remember, every $10 Super Chat that we get, you're going to be entered in for a chance to win a Raiders Report jersey at the very, very end of the show. Let's go to Jeffrey. The only way I trade Jimmy G is for Quinnen Williams, and that's not happening. Yes, you're in the duck race. I mean, you sent this in before I showed you what my trade idea was. So credit to you, salute to you, but we're thinking the exact same way.
And Jeffrey, you're in.
Jeffrey is very much so in. Over to the 800 people. Quinnen Williams, that's all I want. What's that? Binary's Winery?
Binary Swinery.
Binary Swinery. Big love from the UK Raider Nation. Just win, baby.
Do you know Martin?
I was going to say, you and Martin got to get together. Watch the Raiders Report. Go to a, are they called bars, pubs?
It's a pub.
A saloon? A loon? Watering hole? Get together and watch the Raiders Report for a Raiders game day. That'd be dope. This upcoming game would be the perfect one because it's right around 6 o'clock kickoff for you guys. Maybe 7, 8, somewhere in that area.
Each of y'all get a pint.
Sean Irish, Jimmy G is a dog. Keep my guy on the team and healthy, and we go into the playoffs.
Jimmy G,
dog. That's funny. I do think that this Raiders team, to me, I get it. They did not play well this past week.
Josh Jacobs.
But they won the game.
Dog.
But they won the game. And the fact that they were able to win that football game, that speaks volumes to me. That team last season loses that game easily. The fact that the Raiders were able to play a C game and still come away with a win, didn't let their hopes get down, stayed motivated. I mean, that proves to me that this team's a little bit different.
Also,
what do you got for me?
Sean Irish?
First time Super Chatter from Mr. Sean. What's up, man? What's up? Let's go to that guy, Ryan. Is there any defensive player that you'd like the Raiders to pick up to help create more pressure on quarterbacks? Also, put me in on that race, real one for life.
Get in.
Yes, there is. So I've actually talked about some free agents that the Raiders could potentially sign. I've said Kyle Van Noy's name to keep in mind. I'm trying to go through my entire list in my head, but I am totally drawing a blank.
Ingram?
Melvin Ingram was a name to keep in mind. I had Jason Pierre-Paul on there.
7 fingers up.
7 fingers up.
Robert Quinn?
Robert Quinn was a name. I mean, the big ones, though, were Kyle Van Noy. Carlos Dunlap, thank you. Carlos Dunlap, Melvin Ingram were the big names that I thought those could be potential Chandler Jones replacements. If you want to see a video where I really take more of a deep dive into it, players to trade for, the Raiders did listen to me by going out and signing Jordan Willis because that was in the video. But go look it up. It's my Chandler Jones replacement video on the Raiders Report. What up, Cameron Sproul? Bills will stack the box against JJ in the short passing game. Trey Tucker needs to be used this week. I agree that Trey needs to be used this week. They need to use him in some pre-snap motion.
The thing is, and we'll get to it later in the show, they stacked the box against the Jets. They were still able to run.
Mm-hmm. I think the Buffalo Bills are a good defense. The Jets' offensive line is booty cheeks, and it's going to be something that we talk about coming up here.
Josh Jacobs, better than all the running backs on the Jets.
I agree, though Breece Hall, to me, ran very, very well.
Well, I mean, according to Eli Manning, he's out of shape.
I mean, he might not be in football shape, but, I look at that as how often is a running back going to run 80 yards?
He's still a dog.
I mean, I'd rather my running back be able to run a solid, 40 yards every single time. It's kind of like the 40-yard dash. How often in an NFL game are you doing a 40-yard dash? For, a defensive end, let's say. Yeah, I don't know. Cameron, I hear you. David, do the Jets have a first-round pick? Yes. So, oh boy. So because of Aaron Rodgers not playing as many games, the conditional pick, instead of it being a first, it now turns into a second. So yes, the Jets do have a first-round pick in 2024. Oh! Brandon Jasper Bang! Shout out to the newest member
And you're in.
of Mount Raidermore. Yeah, Brandon, you're in for a chance to win
raffle.
for a chance to win your own jersey.
That'd be sick.
Had a lot of fun Sunday, so here's my shout out for locals for the best content, personal interactions, weekly pick'ems, more live shows. If you guys don't know, I do go live 4 days a week here on YouTube. And then on Wednesday, I'm also going live over there. So you can go to that link that you see below, RaidersReport.locals.com. And me and Brandon talks about it all the time. I answer your questions. It's kind of like a live show that you're seeing right now.
Brandon, since it's your giveaway, let me know in the chat. Do you want to just be entered in, or do you want to pick somebody in the chat?
Yeah. Brandon, you could put Brandon in, and then Brandon pick somebody that you want in the duck race. So we're doing a Raiders Report jersey giveaway, duck race at the very, very end of this show. And courtesy of that man right there, the great, great Tuna. So Brandon, how about this? If you want Brandon to pick you, type pick me. Type pick me down below, Brandon. You can pick somebody to join in on the duck race for a chance to win a Raiders Report jersey. Pick me's, a lot of them are coming in. A lot of them are starting to flow in here. We got Jaime, Jeremy, Michael, King, Sancho, Antonio, Dark Side, Chevy. What up, Matt O? Jaime Alvarado. We got Jay Silk, Isaac Hernandez, Blue Richards, Mr. Rico, Howie the Long Way. Keep them coming. Brandon, you get the pick. Let's go to the next super chat here on the Raiders Report.
And somebody you don't F with.
Oh, dude. Wow.
James Mother effing Lillard.
It's like when he pops up on the show, you get chills. I mean, it's like
goosebumps.
It's wild. Mitch Chugs, does the lack of turnovers by our D concern you? Yes. Not sure if it's a lack of playmakers or if it's the style of D we play. Thoughts? To me, a lot of times, turnovers are created when you get pressure on the quarterback. The Raiders have not been able to get pressure on the quarterback for multiple years at this point, and that's why, to me, that their turnovers are very low. Yes, Josh Allen made some bad throws against the New York Jets, no doubt about it. But the Jets also were able to get pressure. Like, you look at a lot of the teams, the Philadelphia Eagles last season, they forced the amount of turnovers that they did because they always were able to create pressure. And for the Raiders, until you start winning up front with your defensive line, I don't know how many turnovers you're going to be able to force. This team does have some good players. Like, Robert Spillane played well. Divine Diablo had himself a hell of a game. Jacorian Bennett had some ups and downs as a rookie. Marcus Peters, I thought, played well. Nate Hobbs was an absolute dog. Marcus Epps had a solid game. Merrick needs to get better. But overall, there was a lot of players that I thought did a good job on defense. I mean, the Raiders gave up only 16 points. What up, Garen? I can't wait to see my manager, who is a Broncos fan today, and give him a lot of crap. I wouldn't give up on Jimmy G yet. Plus, who would be the Raiders QB if we send him to the New Jersey Jets? I like that. So I would say the only way that you're trading away Jimmy Garoppolo is if you really, truly believe that Aiden O'Connell is ready to go right now. Again, it's not going to happen. I love the idea that you're going to walk into your manager today. Hopefully you walk in just like your profile picture. I mean, that would probably go over really well. And they're not going to give up on Jimmy G. There's no reason to give up on Jimmy G. If you think that you are a playoff team, which the Raiders are 1-0. Until they go bad, this is a playoff caliber team to me. So, no, we're not moving on. What up, Ben Thrack? Cool jersey today. I appreciate that. I'm guessing, did you get this jersey for Jose Delgado?
I think so.
I think so. Ventrac, you a real one, and Jose, show some love to Ventrac. Harry, I'm going to guess you're from Michigan.
Yep.
Raiders, F the Jets. That's our Hemi G. Hemi G staying with Las Vegas, and you in. Cameron Sproul, Quinnen Williams, and a third rounder for Jimmy Garoppolo.
No chance. Dun, 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 dun.
Sign me up.
No chance in hell.
Sign me up. What up, Dustin Washington? How worried are you about the Bills from 1 to 10, especially with the embarrassing loss they just had to the Jets? I mean, I said yesterday on the show that I want the Bills to win because I don't want an 0-1 angry Bills team at home up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Like, that's always going to make me nervous. Plus, on top of that, since I've been covering and doing this show, when the Raiders travel east, I feel like they always have a stinker of a game. I'm worried. There's no doubt that the Bills, to me, still are one of the better teams in the NFL. I don't know if the Raiders are going to be able to get pressure the way New York did, and if Josh Allen has all day to sit back there and throw, that's going to make me very, very nervous. The Bills are the favorites. The Bills are the better team, and with that being said, I'm going to sit up here and say I'm probably like a 7. What up, Cameron Sproul? Better yet, Quinnen and a 2024 first-rounder for Jimmy G and Chandler Jones. Sign me up. Jose, I'll send the $100 on game day, and you drink up.
Deal.
Jose, you got yourself a deal, my guy. Scheffler, never put my jersey on unless it's Thursday/Sunday.
Deal.
Noted. D. Mendy, I believe it would be a dumb move to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. I'll have the rookie learn the system for a year or two before throwing him in. Let's go Raiders. Just win, baby. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what I've been just saying over and over and over again. It would be dumb. The only way that you're trading Garoppolo is if you think that with Jimmy G, you're not going to the playoffs. I think if you were to ask Ziegler and McDaniels, they believe they have a playoff caliber team. Raider Gaines, I heard the Jets may lose their first-round pick. Is that true? From what I understand, from what I am looking at right now, the Jets have their first-round pick back in 2024. Anyhow, I wouldn't trade Jimmy Garoppolo. It would screw up the team chemistry. That's the other side that people aren't talking about nearly enough. I mentioned it 20 minutes ago. This Raiders team would be pissed, and I mean pissed, if the Raiders traded away Garoppolo. Miggy, coming on Chugs like a real OG. Keep Jimmy G. Cheers, Mitch and Chugs. Miggy, you a real one. Much love, Chugs. You my boy, Blue. You my boy, Blue. Name that movie. Mark, can we sing Uncle Rico? Uncle Rico. Raider Nation for life. J Raider 84, pick me. I mean, I still don't know if the Great Tuna has picked anybody yet.
I have not seen it yet.
I have not seen it yet. So J Raider 84, that's up to the Great Tuna. That's up to the Great Tuna.
D. Mendy,
knowing Jimmy Garoppolo's history, if Rodgers got injured in the first game, that's already a bad omen. I mean, on top of that, the Jets' offensive line yesterday was atrocious. I mean, shits. I mean, they were bad, right? Like, they look like a bottom 5 offensive line. And if you're a team, you're like, do I really want to put Garoppolo, who can barely move back there? You might be better off with Zach Wilson because of that offensive line. Connor Morgan, big fan of the channel, lads. Big fan from Ireland. Bonjour.
Hey.
We call them pints over here, and we hit the pub. Pick me, Brandon. # Raiders. # Raider Nation. You hit the pub, hitting a pint.
The thing I would love more than anything, next Raiders-Broncos game, Connor's in a pub. They have the Raiders report on. Everybody in the pub, FSAM, 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 FSAM. Jose Delgado.
Mitch, do you think the defense will fix the problems and regroup for the next game? I mean, again, like, the Raiders gave up 16 points to Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. Did the Broncos have a lot of injuries? Yes. Do I see this Raiders defensive line getting drastically better overnight during the week? No. Like, I don't see that ended up going down. But this team did not play bad on defense. Like, they didn't. Yeah, the Broncos had a lot of long drives. The Raiders had a lot of long drives. Were there areas of improvement? Yeah, Tyree Wilson needs to be better. I would like to see Chandler Jones out there. That's not going to happen. The defensive tackles as a whole need to be better. But the biggest thing that this Raiders team needs to do is the costly penalties. Your first down and goal, bad penalty. It backs you up 5 yards. The Luke Masterson penalty, the Divine Diablo penalty. Those penalties would have been the thing that we sat up here and talked about on a Tuesday. What up, Garen? Am I in the duck race? I already sent a $10 super chat. If you sent in a 10...
You bet your arse you are.
Yep. You bet. We're not ducking around here.
I
Brandon,
love this.
whoever names my father's first name gets it.
All right. He's looking. Predict it, or not predict it. Can you guess what Brandon Jasper's father's name was? Let me know. Get down in the comment section. Brandon's looking. Whoever gets it right, that's who he's picking apparently.
What I'm curious is...
Brandon already put a comment driver in here. I love it.
Yeah. Guess Brandon's dad's name. And the first person to guess it...
Brandon's gonna be looking out. He's gonna tell me who gets it correct.
I like it. Let's go to D.7 Gen. Cut blocking for a 39-year-old QB is so stupid. Horrible coaching from the Jets. I mean, there was a lot of questionable things that ended up happening yesterday.
I mean, but
I'm not going to blame. That's the one thing. I'm not going to put it on coaching.
If you blame anything, it is that awful graveyard they call MetLife Stadium.
I mean, the turf there. I mean, you're seeing players like left and right, players that aren't even on the Jets saying like, when is the NFL going to go to just grass?
Rumor has it Victor Cruz's patella tendon is still down on the field at MetLife Stadium.
And that's what sometimes happens with turf, right? Like when you have turf, you mix in some slippery, wet conditions. I mean, that is a recipe for something bad to happen. And it was really bad, man. I actually am curious if because of that injury, a lot of times, unfortunately, an injury needs to happen. It kind of reminds me when Tom Brady had his knees taken out. Yeah. Then they went to like you can't hit QBs low anymore. When you have a QB like Aaron Rodgers with the magnitude of that game, with everything involved.
You can't sack him.
Like, I think MetLife goes to a grass field. And I think that you're going to see a rule here where NFL teams might have to go to grass fields. That's what players want. What up, Ray? How far do you think the Saints will go with Carr? To me, the Saints are a 7-8 win team, which in that division might be enough to make the playoffs. Like, I look at Derek as he's a, 15 to 20-ish quarterback. He has some games where you're like, this guy can be a top 10 QB. And then he has other games, other throws where you're like, this guy's not even a top 20. It's the ups and the downs. But I have also done this show for long enough, and I know a lot of people out there, right? Like, people are like, oh, well, Derek Carr won his first game. That's great. I hope, Derek, nothing but the best. Like, I love my guy Trace here. He runs our Saints show, and I know if Derek Carr plays well, that channel's going to do well. I have no bad words for DC, but I also can say this. I mean, we're acting like Derek has never had a good start to the season. Let's see what DC and that Saints team looks like the second half of the season. But I wish nothing but the best for Derek Carr and the Saints. As far as I'm concerned, we don't play him, and if the Saints played well and they made it to the Super Bowl, God, I hope it's Raiders-Saints Super Bowl. Like, if you told me a dream scenario right now, what would it be for the Super Bowl? Raiders-Saints Super Bowl. This channel might self-combust. Now, remember, y'all, if you don't know, we are doing a Raiders Report jersey giveaway courtesy of the great tuna, Brandon Jasper. Send in a $10 super chat for a chance to win and enter, or the very first person that guesses Brandon's dad's name, you get the entry for Brandon, which I like. I love Brandon. Brandon kind of reminds me of like, and I'm going to just say troll because that's what I think of, but like in a movie or like a book where there's like the troll underneath the bridge to like pass it, like that's Brandon to me. Like Brandon always is like, sure, but you got to crack my riddle first. You know what I mean? Like, anytime he does something like this, it's always like, yeah, but here's the catch. And I love that. I respect it. I like creativity.
Before the Raiders win a championship, they must crack the riddles 3.
Uh-oh. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. I know we were talking about it earlier in there, but like, sounds like it's a bad. I feel like that's always bad luck. More unlucky, Kardashians or Taylor Swift?
Kardashians, and it's not even close.
I know. I know. I think the only thing worse would be if Drake put a bet down on the Raiders.
If it wasn't for Khloe Kardashian, the Rockets would have won the NBA Finals 100%.
You think?
Yes.
Wow.
I blame her.
Okay. I mean, if that's what helps you sleep at night, Coop probably says the same thing about the Mavs, so I get it. I get it. All right, y'all, next segment coming up here on the show is since we talked about Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Jets, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen. Zero just win, babies. So what I figured I would do is give 6 blockbuster trades that the Raiders should consider right now and trades that aren't out of the realm of possibility. I'll explain each reason why I think that. So we'll break it all down for you coming up here on the show. Are you ready? This one's going to be AG1. Yeah, let me just get to my spot here, and then we should be good. Raiders swagger, first time super chatter, and you in. And then I can't pronounce your first name. Adonai Ventura. Is it D's Nuts? Raiders. I don't know. FKC and the Chargers. You're already in. I think you should put Adonai Ventura as D's Nuts. D's Nuts, Adonai Ventura. And God, if he wins, D's Nuts coming up the rear. Oh, man. I can't wait for this duck race. Can't wait. Mr. What up, Daddy Rec? Chuck Baker. I got Ivan AC, Dead Raider. I'm Punchy, 33. Chuck's giving me the thumbs up, which means it's now time to get into our next segment here around some blockbuster trade ideas. Coming up here on the Raiders Report, 6 blockbuster trades that the Raiders should consider right now. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report from Chat Sports. And with all this conversation about Jimmy Garoppolo potentially going to the New York Jets after the Aaron Rodgers injury, I figured, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make some trades that actually make some sense. So what you're going to be seeing here is 6 trades that the Raiders should consider right now. We're going to be shipping some players off. We're going to try to bring some players in. Got a little creative, started talking to some of the guys here around the studio for teams that they cover, and I said, give me some trade candidates that you should consider. The first trade that we got going up here on the show is Derek Barnett to the Las Vegas Raiders. The defensive end for the Philadelphia Eagles has been linked to multiple trade rumors out there. He's been granted permission to seek a trade by Philadelphia, and the reason why this one makes sense is because he's buried a little bit on that depth chart and wants an opportunity to show himself as he is getting up there in age a little bit. So here's the trade that I would offer if I was the Raiders. You get Barnett, Philadelphia Eagles get a 5th-round pick. Like, if I'm Philly, I know that I'm in win-now mode, and you might want to keep Barnett, but I also know the fact that he is coming off a very, very bad injury to the ACL, but I also know when he's healthy, he can be a reliable player, and because of that, it's something to at least consider. Over the last 4 seasons, he had the torn ACL last year. I thought that he looked pretty good overall in his first game. In 2021, the 46 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. Let's face it, the Raiders need to be able to find somebody that can help them generate more pass rush, especially if, let's face it, Tyree Wilson looked slow in that first game. I got to give my flowers to Malcolm Kuntz. He impressed me. But if Chandler Jones doesn't find himself on the field, the Raiders need more help at defensive end. I will admit there's some other free agents that I would sign before I would make a trade, but after all, this is Blockbuster Trades video. My question is this. I was a big-time Blockbuster frequent flyer when I was a kid growing up, and Chug said that he never got video games. For me personally, though, that's why I went to Blockbuster. I went to go get video games. So let's hop back into our time machine a little bit. What did you rent at Blockbuster? Were you someone who got movies, or were you somebody that got video games? Type M for movies, type V for video games, or type 4? I gotcha. Chugs wants me to tell you guys, or you could type P, which I don't know if you could even buy that at Blockbuster. You had to go to a store that had 3 X's on it and had no curtains. I think you're talking about a different store. What did you use to get a Blockbuster? Movies, video games? Let me know down in the comments. Let's go to the next trade idea here. I'm shipping off Amik Robertson to the Carolina Panthers. And out of all the trades that you're about to see on this show, to me, that the one that is the most likely to happen, I'm not saying that any of these are likely to happen, but the one that I can paint the picture of, okay, like that's the most realistic, is Amik to Carolina. The Raiders get a 7th-round pick in 2024. Carolina gets Amik. If you don't follow the NFL and some of the injuries that have happened a little bit, A big-time injury to Carolina's cornerback. They drafted J.C. Horn, I want to say like number 8 overall 2 years ago. Never got to play as a rookie, and now he's injured yet again. On top of that, the Raiders' defensive backs coach, Simmons, used to be the cornerbacks coach in Carolina. So there's a lot of connections there. And Amik, I do think, would potentially fit with what they're trying to do. So with J.C. Horn being out several weeks, you get a corner in Amik Robertson who could help out that secondary. You have the coaching connection there. So that's why, to me, you get at least something for Amik. With you promote Sam Webb, you promote maybe, I don't even know, Tyler Hall, both of those corners, and then you continue to move forward. This team does have depth at that position, which is why I am okay moving on from Mr. Amik Robertson. Also, man, we got a sponsor. They're back in the rotation. Shout out to AG1. And if you haven't already gotten started with our awesome sponsor, go to drinkag1.com/Chat Sports. The Raiders Report is sponsored by AG1. I have AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. Get comprehensive, convenient daily nutrition at drinkag1.com/Chat Sports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted immune system support and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. My grandma always said the early bird gets the worm, and AG1 inspires and motivates me to get as many worms as possible every day. AG1 really helps me getting my day started, getting out of bed, especially after some of our watch parties. I'm telling you, man, it can be difficult. And I'm a person who likes and needs a routine. AG1 helps me stick to my healthy routine, wake up early, take my AG1, take Chuck for a walk, then hit the gym before work. Covering my nutritional base for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust AG1. I just mix one small scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing each morning. Done! I also like it because it costs less than $3 a day. That's pretty good if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. It's a just-win baby. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then AG1 is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Now, I don't know about y'all, I'm always trying to make myself a little bit healthier, make myself a little bit better, and especially, I mean, let's call a spade, right? We put our bodies through some pretty crazy stuff, especially during the regular season. So if I can be a little healthier, believe it or not, I'm trying to stick around for the long haul here on the Raiders Report. Let's go to my next trade idea here, and not all of these trades are sexy. They're just trades that I'm able to make certain connections and connect some dots here. Roquan Davis to Las Vegas. Raekwon Davis. Sorry, I was going to say. You said Roquan Smith earlier to me, and I was like, that's not how you say it. Raekwon Davis. Raekwon Davis back in 2020 was a second-round pick, number 56 overall out of Alabama, and this guy is a big old boy. And the Raiders, they need to add depth at the defensive tackle position. Davis is in the final year of his deal, and, I mean, you know, he's got to look himself in the mirror and be like, I haven't really been all that great down in Miami. They gave Seiler a hell of a deal this offseason. They're about to pay Christian Wilkins, which makes him the odd man out. Usually when you're the odd man out, NFL teams say, okay, if we know that he's in the final year of his deal, we'll take just about anything for him. Rob Leonard on top of it, and this is really the biggest reason why I have Davis on this list, is because Rob Leonard was the Dolphins defensive line coach in 2020 when Miami ended up drafting him. And I'll say this. I'm a big believer in Rob Leonard, just like I'm a big believer in Carmen Brasillo being great coaches. And when you're great coaches, sometimes you can get the most out of your players. Has Davis been a disappointment? Yes. Yes, he has. I'm also, though, a big-time believer in sometimes you need a change of scenery. And he hasn't been all that great down in Miami. In fact, he's been, kind of underperforming if we're just being honest. But if all I got to do is give up a 7th-round pick in 2024, you add some extra competition to this defensive tackle room, and I'm feeling a lot better about it, right? You pair him up with his old teammate, John Jenkins. I want to see more out of Nesta Jade Silvera. I want to see him on the field this upcoming week, and if he's not in the field, I'm going to get a little bit frustrated because, let's face it, the Raiders' defensive tackle room is a little bit of an eyesore at this point. So all I'm trying to do is improve at a certain position. That is what I want to see. Now, I do know this, man. If the Raiders end up making a trade, you already know. Jeremy Chuggs and I, we're going to be going live here, and I don't want you to miss it because our live shows, when trades go down, unforgettable. They are insane. We go wild. We get a few drinks pouring here, get a few giveaways going. But make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got your notifications turned on, because if we break some news, you don't want to be the one that misses it. Let's go to the trade that's probably going to create the most oh crap. And this might be weird. And I did say that this is the trade that I would consider right now. If I was the Buffalo Bills and I'm in desperation mode, I'm 0-1. Why not trade for Hunter Renfrow, a player that had only 13 snaps this past week? And if you watch that Monday Night Football game, yes, they have Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis is a phenomenal field stretcher for Buffalo. Outside of that, Dalton Kincaid. It's not easy for a rookie tight end to get it going. When I think of the best Josh Allen, he had a slot receiver by the name of Cole Beasley. Hunter Renfrow can be that better version of Cole Beasley with this team overall. Yeah, it's going to suck a little bit. You trade away a player that you're going up against this week, but that gives Buffalo more incentive to pull off this deal. So the Bills, they need another slot receiver. The Raiders would save $10.64 million if they traded Renfrow right now, because on a per-game basis, he's making just it's like $700 something per game, somewhere in that number figure. But because there's already one game in the book, if you didn't use Renfrow, he played 13 snaps. You played Christian Wilkerson 13 snaps on top of that. If I can get something for Renfrow, I'm on board with it. And plus, you're saving some money. So here's the deal. Raider fans aren't going to like it. I know that. But if you told me right now I get a 6th-round pick for Hunter Renfrow, I'm taking it. You give me a 6th-round pick, you save over $10 million, you use that $10 million, invest it into something that we're actually going to use. I like Renfrow, and if, it's week 2, and if Renfro's in the game 40 snaps, he gets 5 or 6 targets, and he makes a bigger impact, I'm okay with it. We can keep him. But if we're paying a receiver $13 million for the entire season, and he's getting 13 snaps, and he's getting out-snapped by Christian Wilkerson, then it doesn't make sense to me. So I'll take this pick, even though it's a major loss, but it's not really a loss because you drafted Hunter Renfrow in the 6th round either. How often can you buy a car and then a few years later get the exact same thing what you paid for it? So should the Raiders try to trade away Hunter Renfrow, give me a trade, or I want you to type P for pass. I will continue to say that I want Renfrow on this team, but if the Raiders are not going to use him, then yes, you might as well trade him away. Let's go to the next trade here, and I couldn't just do one player to a team trades. Had to mix it up here a little bit. So who's the one team that I feel like we could mix it up with? The Arizona Cardinals. And I'll tell you what, they were probably pissed off they almost won this past week. So because of that, they're like, well, now we got to make sure that we don't win. So let's go out. Let's try to get ourselves a defensive tackle in Fotu. And let's also go out and get ourselves a free safety in Buda Baker. The Arizona Cardinals get Merrick and then a 2024 3rd-round pick. Buda Baker doesn't have an H in it if you want to take that out. Or we could just pronounce it as Boo Baker. Either way. But the reason why I'm doing this one is Merrick did injure his hand. I'm sitting up here again. I'm saying we need to see what we can have in Merrick. But Merrick was one of the biggest losers to me on the defensive side of the football. Let's just go get a safety. Yeah, you're probably going to have to pay him a little bit of money, but a safety that I have confidence in. Merrick is still yet to inspire any confidence in me. Giving him a 3rd-round pick stinks, but if you're able to get one of the best safeties in the league and you're able to get a defensive tackle that you're going to use in your rotation, to me overall, that makes sense. Yeah, you're giving up probably more than what some people want to do, but I do think this is kind of what Arizona would want in the end. All right, let's go to the final trade, and I don't have a team. I'm just at this point, y'all can have Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones to me is a headache that this Raiders team, this Raiders organization, this Raiders locker room does not need. And if I'm McDaniels and I'm Ziegler, I'm going, who wants him? Who wants him? Put him on the yard sale. And if any team out there says, we'll take Chandler Jones off your hands, we'll take that contract off your hands because we believe that we can get a motivated Chandler Jones, I'm telling you right now, you can have him. Chandler's going to go on social media, and again, there's 2 sides to every story, and unfortunately, we're never going to hear both sides. But I am a big-time believer that you can't have an adult who's supposed to be a leader on your team, who's somebody that you brought in because you have ties to, a player that you knew growing up, and they're doing what they're doing right now. Airing out dirty laundry on social media, airing out what Mark Davis is saying to you, airing out what your head coach, your general manager is saying to you. It's a bad, bad look. And I just want and need a Raiders-free off season. I need a Raiders-free drama season. Like, it's what the nation needs. And after a game that you won, you're 1-0. Yeah, you probably could have been better on the defensive side of the football, but knowing that you were able to win that game without Chandler Jones, if I'm the Raiders, I'm saying, whoever wants them, you can take them. Just take them off my hands. Maybe everyone besides the Broncos, Chargers, and the Chiefs. All right, y'all, we're going to roll through these trade ideas one more time. I know I threw a lot of ideas out there. So how about this? We're going to quickly roll through these trades. Which one was your favorite? If it was the first trade, type 1. As you notice at the very top of the screen, they're all labeled 1 through 6. So I'm just curious of which trade was your favorite. And obviously, there's a lot of different ideas that you can do. I hope that you enjoyed this show because I like doing trade ideas. It's a lot more fun and entertaining for me to be able to create them up in my mind and be able to paint a picture overall. But if you like that type of stuff, guess what? That's the type of content we're going to be bringing here. And if you ever want to stay up to date on the latest Raiders news, rumors, what's going on in my personal life, Twitter, Instagram, at Mitchell Renz 365. My job is to keep you guys up to date, keep the content going, obviously on YouTube. But I bleed silver and black, and I do it on my off days. I do it on social media, and it's because I love interacting with the nation. So don't be afraid. Hit me up on social media. I'd love to see it. I'm hoping you were going to make that face when you popped on the show. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
What Raiders player are you most hyped to see play versus the Buffalo Bills? Hello, how are you? What player are you most hyped to see play versus the Bills?
Mitch?
Me? The player that I'm most excited to watch play this upcoming week against Buffalo is, I'm hoping it's either Chandler Jones or Jacoby Myers. Realistically,
Jermaine.
Realistically, it's probably going to end up being Jacobs, Devontae, or Jimmy Garoppolo,
Good
right?
friend of the show.
Great friend of the show, actually.
You know who I'm excited to see play? If they get an opportunity to go out there, if they get a chance to play, Trey Tucker.
Trey Tucker would be fun. Next to Jade Silvera, another name.
I want to see Trey Tucker out there.
I would love to see Aiden O'Connell, but I also know what that means, so I don't know if I want to see that happen.
Besides the drops, Trey Tucker was kind of electric in the preseason.
Yeah. You can tell that he's an athletic freak. No doubt about it. He's just had some drop issues.
He was a wrestler in high school.
He was a wrestler in high school. It's a fun fact. Also, Jeremy, while we were doing that show, something happened. And what?
Wait, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
Brandon Jasper Bang! Shout out to the great Tuna. Blue Richards gets it because she got his full name correct. It's always going to be Charles to me.
Love that.
Charles Jasper. Shout out to the great, great Tuna. If you don't know why we say the great Tuna, if you don't know why we call it Tuna Clock, it's because of Brandon's dad. His nickname was Tuna. So, Blue Richards, you in? You in.
I put him in. You in.
Blue Richards, it's a she. She's in. Blue Richards and I actually met at Resorts World a few years back when I used to do the live shows there. Guess what? Her hair was blue.
Oh.
So it checks out.
Raider Swagger.
You in, Mr. Swagger. You so in. If you don't know what you're in for, if you send in a $10 super chat, you have a chance to win a Raiders Report jersey. I'm rocking the J. Delgado. I had the Sarah Otto family one on earlier, which actually now reminds me I got to throw on another jersey now.
All righty. Adonai, is it D's Nuts Raiders, FKC, and the Chargers? I put it as D's Nuts Adonai. So be on the lookout for that. Raider Swagger. Raiders! Raider Nation for life, baby. You're in. You were in, but you're double in. You're so in. David's Forsyth knocked Josh Allen out. Nah, I'm not a big injure somebody. You are in, though. You are in.
You're in, but I want to. If an injury happens, an injury happens, right? Like that's kind of the way that I'm going to look at it.
We're not the Saints, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to purposely injure somebody.
We're not those dirty, no good, awful New Orleans Saints.
Hey.
And I just realized he's not out there.
He's not out there. But now it's Sean Payton, so it's the Broncos. Do y'all think Mad Max came up with another wait? Do y'all think Mad Max comes up with another sack versus the Bills, or will Tyree Wilson pick up his first sack?
Porque los nos dos.
I was just going to say, like, to me, every single week, if you told me if it was half a sack over-under for Max Crosby every week, I'm going to bet the over every time.
And the amount of holds not called on Max Crosby.
Always bet. Yeah, you always got to bet the over on that. In terms of Tyree Wilson, I'm going to bet the no on that because of how bad he looked. Again, if you give up only 16 points. I'm glad. Hey, I hope that it ends up happening. But I got people yelling at me on social media because I had my winners and losers segment, and they're like, "Man, it's crazy that you put a loser on the show when the Raiders defense gave up only 16 points." And I said, I hear what you're saying, but watching that game, you also got to be able to understand, and just in life in general, just because you win, you can still get better. And the winners and losers segment is built on players that need to get better or didn't get the opportunities overall. So I'm hoping Tyree comes away with a sack. Anybody regretting the Tyree Wilson pick yet? Jalen Carter was right there for the taking. Reminds me when we took, instead of Dan Marino. I think this. It's still very early. I know Tyree Wilson, he's not going to be as ready to go in the first year compared to several years. Let's look at this conversation 3 or 4 years from now, and then we'll be able to decide. Let's go to James. I really want to see Tyree get that pep in the step. I read it as peep because we got peeps out there. Get some pressure also. I've been called Jimmy G my whole life. That's funny. So let's see him do something too. Couldn't put $10, so give me my duck.
No, $9.99.
Yeah, you're in.
Is a duck.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, you're good. If you send in $9.99, you're getting a duck in the race for a chance to win a Raiders Report jersey at the end of the show.
You in?
Or maybe Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
Look, James, can I put you as Jimmy G?
I mean, yeah. Or we could put him as porn star Jimmy.
I'm gonna put him as Jimmy G.
Put him down as Mr. Jimmy G.
Add an A.
Love it that I mentioned FKC and the charges. F the charges.
My phone stays on 1%.
Oh, dude, I love it. Patrick B. Malcolm Koonce played good enough for me to want to see him on the field more. I want to see him on the field more in passing situations. Like, it's okay to be a specialist in the NFL. And I don't really want to see Koonce on the field in first and second down. Like, if it's third down and long, or it's never an easy thing to try to predict, but I want Malcolm Koonce in the game really only when you're confident that the opposing team is going to throw the football. Like, that's what I would want to see out of Koonce. Now, I'll also say this. In this upcoming game this week against the Bills, I would want to see more of Malcolm Koonce on the field, like more rotational reps, because he's going to be able to be somebody that chases down Josh Allen, where I don't know if Jerry Tillery, a John Jenkins, an Adam Butler, a Byron Young, an Nesta Jade Silvera, if they're going to be able to chase down Young. Malcolm Koonce has that athletic ability where he could end up getting it done. J-Ro, what do the Denver Broncos and Chick-fil-A manager have in common?
Neither one shows up for work on Sunday.
Oh! Sherry Lynn Collins! Bang!
Let's go!
Cheers! Thanks for the entertainment and keeping me updated all the time. Love you guys. Sherry, I appreciate you tuning into the show as often as you do. I appreciate every single one of y'all that tune into the show.
Sherry,
I was excited. Sherry.
And you know what?
Fun fact, I have actually gone to we'll call it Sherry Springer show. Also, RIP to Jerry Springer. What were you going to say?
We've gotten a couple hundreds on the show.
I'm listening.
We said we weren't going to drink today.
I don't really plan on it, but keep going.
If we get 2 more hundreds or 4 more 50s, either way, if we get $200 more, boot. I'm doing a boot.
You're going to do a boot. Okay. Hey, I got to be strict. You know, don't get me wrong. I love partying up with y'all, but
also,
I got to keep it to Sundays and Thursdays, because I know if I start folding in week 1, like, oh, we'll drink here and there. I got to stay strict here.
Also,
got to stay strict. My dad's also showing some love to Sherry Lynn.
You in.
Sherry Lynn. So in.
John Scheffler.
What up, Chef? A lot of teams are going to regret not taking that guy, but they had everything in place, and if you didn't work out, it wasn't a big deal for them.
He's talking about Jalen Carter.
Carter, right? Yeah. And that's the other aspect of this, right?
Look,
where every situation is different.
And I'm not saying Devin Witherspoon is bad or he playing bad at all, but I mean, the Seahawks needed a defensive tackle too, and they passed on him.
Yeah.
So it's not like the Raiders were the only team that was like, yeah, I'm not going to take Jalen Carter. The Cardinals traded out of the number 3 spot because they didn't want Jalen Carter.
I mean, there was
they
a lot of...
felt comfortable enough to trade back to be like, we're okay.
Yeah, I think it's also the idea that certain guys can go to certain, like, far too often when we talk about offense, and that's kind of, you know, what ends up happening is people are like, oh, that guy landed in the perfect spot, right? Like, that wide receiver landed with the perfect spot because they have that quarterback. Jalen Carter landed in the perfect scenario with the perfect team. He needed to be around people that he could trust. And I don't know if you guys noticed, the Eagles have basically the entire Georgia defense on that team. Like, they have a lot of good pieces around him, a lot
Davis,
of important.
Nakobe Dean, Kaylee Ringo.
Like, why? I mean, they have
Nolan
legit.
Smith.
Yeah, they just traded for DeAndre Swift, right? Like, I mean, I'm telling you, the amount of Georgia Bulldogs on that team, like, that's why it's a good fit.
Dogs.
Definitely one of the reasons why it's a good fit. All right, y'all, we got 9 hundo in the building. If you haven't already, click that like button. And at the end of this segment, we still got one more segment to go. Still got one more segment to go. What we're going to end up doing here is if you send in a $10 super chat for a chance to win. Also, there's a Jets fan in there, and he's just lazy. He just came to the show here, so I'm just going to say goodbye to him. See you later, Mr. Jets gang.
Suck it!
Well, I get people. I mean, it's one of those things where I've been up here for 2 hours at this point saying,
just give him the DX.
For being, hey, they're never gonna
suck it.
The trade's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. Ivan, no boot. No boot, man. I'm not drinking.
I said I would do the boot, but I need 2 100s or 4 50s.
See, that's the thing. I know when I put on the jersey, it is what it is, but if I also start a show off by saying I'm not drinking, that's the other part where I'm not drinking. Unless Sherry says, Mitch, you can do a boot of a water boot. I'll do a water boot.
We have Coke Zero.
Dude, I feel like that's worse. 3 Coke Zeros? That might be worse. I don't want to do that. Oh man.
God.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that. Sancho says queso boot. Somebody said milk.
No.
Dude, the queso boot might have been the worst thing I've ever done on this show.
I don't even know what you were thinking.
I wasn't. I was intoxicated, I feel like.
I had to heat up the queso to put it in the boot, and then as soon as it hit the cold beer, it immediately turned back into hard pieces of cheese.
Yeah, it was a bad idea. Didn't think that one through.
Save it for another day. Sherry's a real one.
Sherry's a real one. Sherry, I'll Thursday show.
A buttermilk boot.
Blech. Thursday show, Sherry. I'll start Thursdays. Once we get it going a little bit, we'll do a boot for Sherry that day.
Martin, I don't even know what that is.
What?
He said, how about a decent Kentish bitter boot?
If I had to guess, bitter, it means it's a bitter beer boot? Bitter, like a sour beer? I do like sour beers. Let's go to David Taken. Hey, Mitch, is our offensive line better than the Jets, light years better. And based on Monday night's Bills game, what are your realistic expectations? I'll say this. In order for the Raiders to win this upcoming game, you got to protect Jimmy Garoppolo. The Bills are going to stack the box. They're going to try to get after Jimmy. But I also know that Bills run defense did not look good against a very bad Jets offensive line. Like, the Jets O-line is one of the worst O-lines in all of football. So there's that. I also don't think that Raider fans should expect Josh Allen to throw 3-4 interceptions again, because the Raiders aren't going to get the pressure that New York did with only bringing 3 or 4. So I do think that the Raiders can win this game. They got to bring their A game. If they play the way that they did against the Broncos, they will not win this upcoming game. What up, Brian? What's going to help Jimmy G throw the deep ball? Are we concerned? Almost threw a pick when throwing to Devontae. What about Mayer and Hunter? Am I concerned with the deep ball from Garoppolo? Of course I am. Every Raider fan should confidently say, yes, I'm not confident in Garoppolo's deep ball. But that's not what he's good at, and that's probably not what he's going to try to do, right? So if somebody's wide open, sure. I do think that the Raiders at times have to take a shot. That way the defense can't continue to just creep up and creep up. But the Raiders are going to get their own in the middle of the field on the outsides. Like, that's what Garoppolo is going to be able to do. Also, on top of that, what about Mayer and Hunter? Mayer, if he doesn't start blocking better, he's not going to get as many opportunities. And Renfro getting only 13 snaps. I know McDaniels said, like, certain things are going to happen, but it makes no sense to pay a receiver $13 million to only get 13 snaps.
Check your phone for me.
I can. And
Nathaniel Emerson, always a good day when y'all are live. Hey, and maybe one day it's every day. Right now we're over half the week.
That's the goal. No, I don't got anything.
Are you sure?
Yep. Very sure.
From Senior Jasper.
I don't have anything.
All right.
Just
David.
saying. David, Raiders play in Sin City, right to pass on Carter. Like, that's the other aspect of it where it sucks to say, but with the amount of off-the-field drama the Raiders had, I understand them maybe not wanting to go with Jalen Carter. But if it turns out to bite him like, the other part of it, though, also is, like, they also took Tyree Wilson, who's got some red flags as well because of that foot injury. Like, you should have, if your idea was, I don't want to take Jalen Carter because of the off-the-field red flags, I can make the argument that if your player's got a bad foot, that's just as big of a red flag, if not a bigger one. So, I hear you. What up, Brandon? Blue Richards gets the first Jersey Duck race for the second today, Venmo. So, Blue Richards gets the first Jersey Duck race for the second today? I don't know what that means.
But I'm guessing put her in twice?
Okay. Put her in twice, Brandon? Is that what you mean? I don't know what you mean.
I'll do it.
I mean, we could put her in twice. That's fine. Whatever you want, Brandon. It's your jersey giveaway, ma'am. It's your jersey giveaway.
She's in there.
In there twice. Brandon, Mount Raider Moore, you a legend. What up, DeVale? Hopefully we get the Bills defense from last night and Jacobs can actually get some big runs. I mean, I thought the Bills defense played well last night. I don't think that they played bad. Yeah, sure, the Jets didn't have Aaron Rodgers, and when you're rolling with Zach Wilson. But a lot of times, though, you see some teams when you've been preparing for a quarterback like Rodgers. Obviously, Rodgers is light years better than Zach Wilson, but sometimes then you see a quarterback play a lot better when you haven't schemed for them all week. And the easiest connection that I can make is a few years ago. Remember, it was, week 15 against the Chargers. Derek Carr gets injured. Marcus Mariota goes in that game, and he played incredible because two totally different QBs, you're not scheming for that QB anymore. So when that happens, sometimes then that quarterback ends up having a good game. I thought the Bills did a pretty solid job.
Also, just a reminder, $200, boot.
Bootski from Mr. Chugs. All right, y'all. I actually got to take a quick leak before we get into this next segment. Chugs, hold down the fort until I get back. Until then, Jeremy, they're all yours.
Heyo. Duval 35. Hopefully we get the Bills defense from last night. And Jay, did you just read this? Yep, he just read this. All right. Go back to a classic. Who you got? Duval, thank you. Who you got? Eagles or Vikings for Thursday Night Football? Me and Mitch are going to break this down. A lot of people talking Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins underrated. Who do you think has the better quarterback? Is it Hurts or Cousins? I think it's Hurts, but he only has really 1 year of sample size of playing at an elite level. Kirk Cousins has a little bit more. What do we think it is? Do we think it's Jalen Hurts or Kirk Cousins? Let me know down in the comment section as we get a couple more super chats. First, from Angel or Angel, where would you rank the offensive line after Sunday's performance? I think they're definitely a top 10 offensive line. Not the best in the NFL, but they are in the upper half of the league for sure. I think Colton Miller is a good left tackle. He makes some mistakes from time to time, but I think he, league-wide, is a good left tackle, a good anchor. I think Jermaine Olumoro on the right side is another good tackle as well. Andre James, besides the, I think he had one botch snap. He was pretty good. Dylan Parham is improving every single day. And Greg Van Roten has been a surprisingly good addition from this offseason. Mitch has called him starting at right guard since they signed him. But Greg Van Roten looked pretty good in week 1. The only thing that's keeping me from saying, oh, they're a top 5 unit, they're a top unit in the NFL, is the run game. I think the Raiders need to get the run game going a little bit more. They got a little bit bullied up front whenever the Raiders tried to run it. But in pass protection, they held up very, very well. Very well. Thanks for the super chat, Angel or Angel. Nicholas, you're in. Raiders for life. You need a spy for Josh Allen. I don't know. Me personally, I don't. I think I would wait on that. I think I would wait.
Oh, man. Thank you. I had to go, man. Had to pee really, really freaking bad.
It's okay, man.
Also, some kind of NFL news. Ian Book working out with the Patriots tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Now we're actually only 150 away from a boot.
Oh, yeah? How many people do we have in the duck race?
King Richardson, get a pick. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So we got to have quite a bit of people here in this duck race. If you don't know what the duck race is, we're going to do a segment here in a little bit. After that.
Exactly 30.
Exactly 30. After that, we're going to end up then doing a duck race to decide who wins a Raiders Report jersey, courtesy of the one and only Mr. Brandon Jasper. Nicholas, dude, how do you pronounce that last name? But I'll tell you what, having frat in your last name, this guy was the coolest dude on campus. If you just got a jersey, you just put frat on the back of your name. Instead of like double zeros, if I was you, Nicholas, I'd get a Raiders jersey, and instead of the 00, I'd get 2 red Solo cups as my name and put frat on the background. Love it. PG, in my opinion, no way we are a top 10 O-line. We struggled against the Donkeys. Raiders! I mean, I hate to disagree with you, but I thought the Raiders did pretty well against the Donkeys, right? Like, I mean, you didn't allow any quarterback stats.
What I was saying while you were gone, the only thing that's keeping me from, putting them as like top 5, 6, 7, 8 offensive line, I'm thinking they're in that 9-10 range, is that they weren't able to establish the run and kind of put their presence in the run game.
Yeah, I hear you there, but again, like when you're stacking 8 in the box, it's not as easy to be able to run the football. And I mean, you look at a lot of metrics out there, the All-22, you look at PFF, some of those guys have Raiders as a top 5 offensive line. Like, the Broncos are good at being able to get after the quarterback, and yeah, you need to be able to run the football, and I think that's going to come with time, but you protected your quarterback. I think it's no doubt that the Raiders have a top 10 offensive line. Let's go to Caleb Rogers. Thank you, my guy, for supporting the channel. And then Nicholas said on the frat jersey, already do. All right, man, great minds think alike then. I'm telling you, with a last name like that, if Alex, my fiance's last name, started with Frat, I would take her last name. Mitchell Frat 365. I mean, that might be the most on-brand thing that I could possibly do on this show.
Mitch was in a frat.
I was not.
Oh. Mitch was not.
Believe it or not, I was not in a frat, which I know probably surprises quite a lot of people, but you know, it is what it is. Funny, also my school that I went to in college, I went to a very, very small school. We didn't have any frats. We had a sorority and...
Oh, Caleb, first-time Super Chatter also, by the way.
Oh, first-timer from Caleb. And the sorority, Jeremy, was not one you wanted to be in. Let's just put it like that. Not a great one. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get into 5 things guaranteed to happen against the Buffalo Bills this upcoming week. And then we're going to get ready to get in for the duck race. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Jeremy's giving me the nod. Hopefully y'all are ready to get this thing rocking and a rolling. Coming up right now, things that are guaranteed to happen against the Buffalo Bills. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here from the Raiders Report. And today, I'm going to look into my crystal balls, and I am predicting 5 things that are guaranteed to happen against the Buffalo Bills this week for the Las Vegas Raiders. So if you're planning on doing fantasy football, you want to make a few bets, I got what you need to end up getting this done. Now, we got a Week 2 matchup here where the Las Vegas Raiders, they are 1-0. The Buffalo Bills are 0-1 after a rough Monday Night Football loss to the New York Jets, which was probably one of the most electric endings to a game that I have seen in a very long time. If the Raiders want to come away with a victory in Orchard Park, New York, on the road in Buffalo, they need to bring their A game. They can't bring their B game. They can't bring their C game like they did against the Denver Broncos, because if you bring your C game to Buffalo, Bills Mafia is going to show you what you got. Now, I'll say this. I think Raider Nation is undefeated, but if there is one fan base that I got to give my flowers to, it is Bills Mafia. On top of that, I got some family that are Bills fans, so I know for a fact this is a must-win week for the Silver and Black. If you want to also know our programming schedule for this week and the entire year, we're going to be live every single Monday, Tuesday during the regular season, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. Then we're going to be live on Thursday night for Eagles, Vikings, Thursday night football showdown. Then we're going to be live on Sunday when the Raiders take on the Buffalo Bills. So here are the 5 things that are guaranteed to happen up against the Bills. The first one is this: Marcus Peters, lock and loaded, number 24, is getting an interception. I saw Josh Allen throw the ball carelessly against New York. I'll admit the Jets got solid pressure on Allen, and I'm hoping that the Raiders can do the same. But I just see Peters being the ball hawk that he is. He's going to get at least one up against Allen. Peters in his career has 32 interceptions. Allen threw 3 picks against the Jets, and Allen in his last 34 games has 32 INTs. Maybe I'm a little bit superstitious. I saw 32 career, 32 INTs in the last 34. I'm telling y'all right now, Peters is going to get that pick. I also anticipate that Buffalo is going to try to do their best to put Stephon Diggs on anybody not named Marcus Peters. So we'll see how that matchup ends up unfolding. Gabe Davis is a deep threat. Peters is going to be able to hang with Davis, and he's going to come away with at least 1 interception. So how about this? It's time to look into your crystal balls. This is actually going to be the pinned comment on today's show. How many interceptions will Josh Allen throw on Sunday against the Raiders? You're about to get hit with the YouTube ad break. Scrolling down and let me know. Let's go to the next thing here that is guaranteed to happen against the Bills. Hunter Renfro's getting a catch. And this one is the lock of the century. Hunter Renfrow will have at least 1 reception this upcoming game. Why? Because I am hoping that Raider Nation is screaming it into existence that how in the hell are you paying a receiver $13 million a year to get only 13 snaps, no targets, no catches, no receptions? I understand that McDaniels said, it's just kind of how the game went. Well, I don't really believe in that, because if you wanted to get Hunter Renfrow the ball, you're the guy who's calling the plays, and I think you could have done a better job of it. Plus, you could have got him on the field. I'm hoping that he hears some of the noise in the background and that he gets Hunter Renfrow at least one target, because if Renfrow gets a target, that guy right there, he's going to end up catching that football. That I can guarantee you. I'm hoping Hunter Renfrow eats, and if you're looking to eat on game days, you're looking to eat in the month of September, hell, if you just need to get started with an awesome meal plan, I got one for you. If you're maybe too lazy to do the cooking on your own, Factor's going to be able to hook you up. So we got a new sponsor alert here on the Raiders Report. Too busy this fall to cook, but want to make sure that you're eating well? With Factor, skip the extra trip to the grocery store, the chopping, the prepping, and the cleanup too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy, then get back to crushing your day. This September, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door. Ready in just 2 minutes, no prep, no mess. Head to factormeals.com/RaidersChat50 and use code RaidersChat50 to get 50% off. That's code RaidersChat50 at factormeals.com/RaidersChat50 to get 50% off. Pick your meals pre-made, prepared and cooked to perfection. Heat and enjoy. It is simple. It is easy. I have used Factor before. My fiance Alex and I, we did it right before I was going to Cancun. I'm not going to lie to you. I knew I had free agency. I knew I had the NFL draft in. I didn't have as much time that I needed to be able to do my meal prep and working the amount of hours I do. If you're a busy person, I can promise you this. Factor Meals is legit. So go to factormeals.com/RaidersChat50. Link's going to be available for you guys down in the comments and in the description of today's show. Let's go to the next thing guaranteed to happen on Sunday in Buffalo. Davante Adams is coming down with a touchdown catch. To me, Adams is the best receiver in all of football, and he's going to get his opportunities. He saw 9 targets, had 6 catches for 66 yards, no touchdowns in Week 1 against the Denver Broncos. I'm not 100% sure if Jacoby Myers is going to be playing in this game, and even if he does, I could still see McDaniels maybe wanting to ease Myers back into the rotation simply because, let's face it here, they don't want to rush him back too soon, which means then more opportunities for Davante Adams, which then also means that he's going to come down with a touchdown. So, when I think about this, okay, in the 2 games played against Buffalo, Adams had 8 catches for 81 yards and no touchdowns. 2 games played. Here's a baseball analogy. And I believe Davante is a good enough athlete where if he wants to set his mind to something, he's going to be able to do it, right? We agree with that. So, for Davante here, he's had 2 games against Buffalo, no touchdowns. Adams doesn't seem like the player to me that's going to strike out. He's going to be in his 3rd game. He's going to have a hell of an opportunity to come up clutch here, and he's going to be able to come away with a touchdown on Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. Let's go to the next thing here on, but first, okay, Jeremy says, but wait, if you think that Davante Adams finds the end zone on Sunday, I want you to click that like button. I can't guarantee a lot of things, but I can guarantee these 5 things. And I believe Davante is going to find pay dirt, and if you also believe that in the heart of hearts, hit that like button. I know. I believe in you. And when Adams does score, you better be screaming, show me those TDs on Sunday with me. Let's go to the next thing that's guaranteed to happen against the Bills, Josh Jacobs. He's not only going to have a 20-yard touchdown run, I also think he's going to get 20-plus touches. And to me, Jacobs is going to have some opportunities here to really get it going overall. And Jacobs, he has had 21 touches against the Broncos, which showed me right off the bat that they're going to give him his work. They're going to give him his opportunities. Jets running backs against the Buffalo Bills had 24 carries for 166 yards and averaged a really nice yards per carry there. Jacobs also, with Josh McDaniels as his head coach, has averaged 23 touches per game. If you want to make sure that you win this football game, and I get it, the Raiders struggled to run the football in Week 1, but the Jets showed you that they could with a bad offensive line. So I'm hoping that the Raiders kind of go about it in the exact same way. On top of that, when you look at that Bills offense, I get it. Allen struggled. the way to beat Buffalo is to make sure that team, that offense, is on the sidelines. And Jacobs is going to be needed in this game to come away with a win. So how many touches will Josh Jacobs have against the Bills this upcoming week on Sunday? How many touches is he going to get? I'm saying it's 20 at least, and he better get at least 20, or I'm going to be one unhappy camper. You want to keep this offense balanced. You can't get into a pass-happy game with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's not going to work. So even if the running game struggles early on, you got to stick with it. That's why you're paying Josh Jacobs. He's one of the best running backs in the league. Keep beating JJ. Let's go to the final thing here on the Raiders Report that's guaranteed to happen. And this might be the only one that's kind of bad. You could look at it. I'm telling you right now, Jacorian Bennett's getting at least 10 tackles in this game. And this is good and it's bad. I was impressed with Jacorian's ability to tackle in his first NFL game. Like, he showed me that he was a solid tackler. He does need to get better in coverage. But here's what's going to happen. The Bills are going to try to pick on Jacorian. When you watch that Monday Night Football game, Allen, Stephon Diggs, they did everything in their power to stay away from Sauce Gardner. And I forecast that Buffalo is going to do the exact same thing. They're not going to try to throw the ball near Nate Hobbs. They're not going to try to throw the ball near Marcus Peters. What are they going to do? They're going to pick on the rookie. And I'm hoping Jacorian, he gets himself an interception. But that's what's to be expected. When you're a rookie in the National Football League, people are going to come after you. They're going to pick on you a little bit. And if I'm Stephon Diggs, I'm going, Maryland corner? All right. I played wide receiver at Maryland. Let's go. Let's have a Terrapin showdown right now. Bennett had 7 tackles against Denver, and he's going to get those opportunities. I hope he doesn't get picked on too much, but I also hope that I'm wrong on this one, because I think if I'm wrong, it means that he's telling Buffalo, don't try to pick on me, man. Now, those are the 5 things guaranteed to happen this upcoming week for the Raiders up against the Buffalo Bills. I hope you already know that Jeremy Chugs and I were going to be live for this game, so make sure you subscribe. Make sure those notifications are turned on, because when it's game time, we get really wild here on the show. We had over 180,000 people last week tune in. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to be having some drinks. We're going to be having a good time. I want you to think of game day here at the Raiders Sport as like that Oakland tailgate feel. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you got those notifications turned on, because I tell you this, you don't want to miss a watch party here on the Raiders Report. All right, y'all, I want to know, what Raiders player are you most hyped to see play versus the Bills? Let me know down in the comments, Jeremy. And if you could give some shout-outs here, I got to just go grab something real quick.
Yeah.
So if you could give some shout-outs.
Yo, let me know, who do you want to see most against the Buffalo Bills? Let's see it. Sucker-free Raider, Ivan, Al Phillips, Jose Perez, Thumper World, Carlos Marin. Let's see. You're saying Hobbs, O'Connell, Devontae Adams, JJ, Nesta, DA, Mad Max, Jacoby Myers, still in concussion protocol. Don't know if we'll see him yet. And Connor Morgan, shout out Chugs, please. You got it, bro. You got it. And Mitch is back.
Back, better than ever. Back and better than ever.
Let's go to some super chats.
Let's roll through some soups here. Brandon Jasper says, Das Boot Chug. So I forget what number we said we had to get to. And, you know, this is just one of those things, man, where there's at times I don't even believe we do what we do. And Brandon was on an absolute tear on Sunday. And he's on another absolute tear here, because this one's rolling in from Brandon Jasper. Down below. Show some love to the great Tuna. And yeah, that's going to be boot time there for Jeremy. Also, in the words of the great Tuna, he said that jersey is for Blue Richards.
Okay.
So that jersey is for Blue Richards. Done deal. Blue Richards, say thank you to Brandon because you're getting yourself a jersey. So, Blue, I'll message you on Instagram. I actually have her Instagram. So I'll message you on IG, and then that way, or you can just DM me real quick. Tell me what you want on the jersey, and then the number and what color you want it. But legendary shit there from the Tuna. If you want a shout out here on the Raider Sport, spam Tuna. Right now, we're going to give some shout outs. What up, Majin?
Tuna.
What up,
Tuna.
Ivan? Caleb Rogers. Robert Jansen. Oh, we're Jugs is doing a boot. Shout out to Sucker Free Raider, Evo Chris, Miguel Gomez, Big Island, Husker Raider. What up, G Money? I'm Punchy Martin. I got Shav, Xavier D-Claw, Jaime Alvarado Sr., Zalesbo, Acada Monkey Jesus. We got Homero, Scott Raiders, Franklin Faces, Chad Smith, all spamming shout outs to the great Tuna. Coming up here on the Raiders Report, you're going to see a man take down a boot, 3 beers, 36 ounces, quicker than you have ever seen a human being take down liquid. It's a rather impressive feat. I'm not going to lie to y'all. If you haven't seen it yet, it's worth the price of admission, which luckily for you, the Raiders Report's free to watch, so you're going to have a hell of a time. If I had to guess, it's going to be Happy Dad. If you don't know what Happy Dad is, it's the number one thing that you guys should be drinking if you're trying to chug. It's legendary. Happy Dad has totally changed the game here. Chad Smith said faster than last week, maybe. Miguel Gomez, much love, Mitch. Love what all you do for Raider Nation. Hey, I love my job here, but I love being able to hang out with y'all. I love being able to do what I do, but we're able to do what we do because of people like Brandon. Because I see John Scheffler in the chat right now. I see John Borelli, another member of Mount Raidermore, right? But we also have people like Martin, who watch religiously. Queen Sarah Otto, who watches religiously. Ivan's been typing the entire show. Believe me when I tell you, we do what we do because of y'all. And I was wrong. Jeremy got some beer. I said that you would do Happy Dad. I didn't think you would. You going for it? He's going for it. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm a man. I'm 40. All right, we're about to see it then. We're about to see it go down. You know what? I'm going to go back on my word. Fill up a boot. For Tuna. For Brandon, for Sherry, let's go. Fill one up. Let's do it. Let's do it. F it. I know. I already caved. But when Brandon does shit like that, I got the Sherry jersey on. This is the last thing I'm drinking for the day. Let's go. Brandon's been a freaking legend. Brandon's been a freaking legend. Show some love to Brandon Jasper. Show some love to Sherry Lynn. Let's go. Let's go. Show some love. The thing is, though, it might take Jeremy a minute or two. There it is, a boot race. I think everyone can agree. Brandon deserves a boot race. Brandon deserves a boot race, and he deserves one now. So, Brandon, I'm doing this for you, my guy. I would rather do Happy Dad. Yeah, I'd rather do Happy Dad. Because this beer right now does not smell very good to me. Does not smell very good. Yes, you're about to get a boot race. But it's not going to be much of a race. It's going to be more of Jeremy's going to finish really quick like he usually does, giggity. And then you're just going to watch me finish, and Jeremy's just going to watch. So that's basically what's going to happen. However, though, if you want it to be close, how many second head start should second head start should I get? 10 second? Or should it just be we start at the same time? What do you guys want? 10 second head start or we start at the same time? You guys pick. What do you want? What do you want? Start at the same time or 10 second head start? Thanks for the roses. Ooh, thanks for the roses. All right.
Smell it and guess the flavor.
I feel like it's like a berry or something.
Close.
Fruit punch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit.
You don't like fruit punch?
It's okay. I think fruit punch is never my go-to. Like, if you give me a drink, I'm going to drink anything. But, like, would you ever pick fruit punch? Like, I don't think I would. Not a big fruit punch guy. Hey. All right, so Purple Walrus wants me to get a 10-minute head start, just so you know. I think I would win. I think, though, if you gave Sperry a 10-minute head start, I still think you'd win. I still think that you would end up winning. All right, boot race time.
Chuck is spamming 8. I'll give you an 8.
Scheffler said 10, so let's meet in the middle. 9?
8.5.
9.5 it is. All right, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, who you got? 9-second head start. Type M for Mitch. Type C for Chugs. So that means I got to do this in 15, 16 seconds to have a shot. That's a nightmare. And then after this boot, we're going to do the duck race to decide who wins a jersey raffle here on the Raiders Report. Yeah, Ed says, even with the head start, Jeremy's going to win. You're probably not wrong. Though, I appreciate King Sanchez having my back. Chuck, though, he's all in on Chuggy. All right, who you got? M for Mitch, C for Chugs, 9-second head start.
$50 will do it, sir.
What'd you say? He said $50 super chat will do it shirtless. Somebody just retracts their 50. Oh, I'm done. I'm out. All right, I'm going to get this timer. So give me 1 second here. Let me refresh my phone.
$50, the shirt comes off.
Whew. I don't know, man.
Chuck wants to see it.
Chuck probably does. I can tell. Caleb Rogers cheering on Mitch. I appreciate it. All right, let me get this clock timer going here. I'm just struggling. Well, yeah, I thought a duck, and then I thought a timer and clock, and I just put it all together in one, and I don't know what I said. Okay, Chuck says with the shirt. I'm glad it's with the shirt.
Get a 50, so.
That's good. Let's keep our shirts on here. You ready?
Gillis, you'd be surprised.
What's mind-blowing to me, oh, dude, I thought that was going to be it. I thought Dubs was going to do it. Dubs, I was so close yesterday. Let's run it back. I got Chugs. Get me in. Did anybody else have a mild heart attack when they saw Dubs send in that super chat? I was like, oh, my God, I got to take my shirt off. We're good. All right, here we go. You hit start on that. I need all the time I can get here. It's gross, man. Dang it. See, there's a part of me where I feel like if I go any faster, it's going to go down the wrong pipe. I don't know how you do it. Dang it. I think it's 10 seconds. I think I need 10 seconds. Son of a gun. I'm telling you, we're going to have to start doing like, can you beat Chugs challenge? It's just unbelievable. Reminds me, I used to go to the Bloomsburg Fair when I was a kid. If you don't know where Bloomsburg is, shout out to the 570. Not as good as the Texas State Fair, but pretty close. You'd pay like 3 tickets to see the world's largest alligator, and it's literally just like a little crocodile. Like, just a little guy. Though crocodiles are bigger than alligators, aren't they? I think so. I don't know. Okay, here we go. We're going to roll through the remainder of the Super Chats, and then once we get to the end of those, Raiders Report jersey giveaway, courtesy of Brandon Jasper. And there's only one way to do it. It's a duck race. Husker Raider, I think Mitch wants to duck around and find out. Husker Raider, you in. You in for the duck race. Brandon Blue Richards gets one, and it's a race for the second. Sounds good. David. Finally, some Bennett love. I feel like I give Jacorian Bennett his flowers here and there. I mean, a lot of times, if you don't hear about certain defensive players, that's a better thing. Like, realistically, people only talk about corners. National media talks about corners when something bad happens. Brandon just sent in a 50 and said, show me those TDs. I'll say this. If it was anybody else, I don't think I would do it. But because Brandon wants the TDs, we're about to do a shirtless duck race. Is that it? Shirtless duck race? Jeremy's shirt's already off. Shirtless duck race. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. Again, if anybody else would have sent in that 50 late, I would have said, hey, try again. But for Brandon, yeah, we got to do it. Jugs, I need you on screen. Oh, man, that's what a man looks like.
I got you. Dubs, I was so close yesterday. Let's run it back. I got Chugs. Get me in.
I got Chugs on it. My dad always says, as soon as the nipples come out, the viewership goes down. Dad, I hate to break it to you. Looks like the viewership has gone up a little bit here. I've also realized I got to up my chest hair game because Chugs has got me beat in the chest hair game. No doubt about it.
I'm a real man.
Also, one of us tans better than the other. I'll let you decide who that is.
Yeah, Mitch puts on bronzer.
He's right. I do. Brandon, the TDs are out. We're about to do a shirtless duck race because as far as I'm concerned, whatever Brandon wants on today's show, Brandon's
Can you flex?
Brandon's going to get. What am I flexing?
Your pecs.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. Oh, man.
Hope you're not watching with your significant other.
Yeah, I know. Because he's rock hard right now. What up, Dylan? You in? You so in, Dylan.
Yeah.
You so in.
Oh, yeah.
I think what we need to get is like those strips, like the Kelly Clarkson strips. That would be a fun super chat idea. Well, you remember last year when Seeps tried to do the wax and all they got were the strips, but they didn't get wax?
Yeah.
I think we got to do that as a super chat item. I'm in. Dylan Erickson, you in? No, you're not leaving me. Don't push to that full screen.
I got to. I got to set up the duck race.
What do you mean you got to set up? No, do it on screen with me. Come on, don't leave me hanging. Brandon, tell Chugs to get back up on screen. Tell him to get back up on screen. Last chance to get in this duck race. Raiders Report jersey giveaway. Last chance to get in on the duck race. $10 and you're entered to win. Chugs is leaving me hanging right now. I'm a little bit disappointed. in you. $10 for your final chance to get in this duck race. Winner gets a Raiders Report jersey. Hurry, get it done from Chuck. I know, man. I hear you. I totally hear you. So here's what's going to end up happening. Is it going to be a minute or is it going to be minute 30? Minute 30 or how long do you want the duck race to be? Let me know. How many seconds down below do you want the duck race? What do you guys want? Borelli says save it for the OnlyFans. Locals tomorrow. Don't you worry. Robert says 2 minutes. Scott says 90 seconds. 60 seconds from James. 90 seconds from Xavier. Scott says 90. Scheffler wants a 130-second duck race. 60. Blue Richard says 60. I'm seeing a lot of 60s, 130s, 90 seconds. We did 90 seconds yesterday. So let's switch it up here. Either we're going to go back to 60 seconds or we're going to do 120. 60 or 120. David said 5-minute duck race. I would be spent. I don't think I could do a 5-minute duck race. 60 or 120. Judging by the numbers, I think we're going to go with 60. Well, now the 120s are coming in here. All right, you know what? There's only one way to do this. There's only one way to do it. We're making a poll. How long is the duck race? All right, we're doing either a 60-seconder or a 120er. Start the poll. We're starting the poll. That's what we get. Either 60 seconds or it's going to be a minute 20. You let me know. I also realize my dad bod is in full display, which, just so you guys know, and yes, I am picking a wedgie. Just so y'all know, I do have a dog, so we can kind of get away with it with that. Chris says do 80 seconds. Borelli basically said if your shirt's off, do a 1 second duck race. Go. Ah! That'd be nuts. Evo! How do you feel about the play calling during week 1? I thought it was a little bit conservative, but I also liked it in the beginning. To me, McDaniels has to learn how to make adjustments. Like, he's a great offensive-minded coach. You have that first drive, sure it was an onside kick, you scored a touchdown. Next drive, got a field goal. Then there was a little bit of a loss. I thought the Broncos did a good job of being able to make corrections. And then when it mattered the most, they did get that score.
Clutch time.
That's what matters. Like, that's all people care about. It don't matter if you win by 30 or if you win by 1 point. Still counts as a win. And you in. Luis, let me get a piece of that. The duck race. And Raiders! Got a few more. Chuck. What up, Chuck? Trizzy. He wants to show it off as well. Mitch Chugs, please put your shirts back on. LMFAO, great artist. Can I get a Raiders? Chuck says, Chug's got a sweater on. The only reason the shirts are off is because Brandon Jasper said, show me those TDs, send in a 50.
The best time to wear a striped sweater is all the time. One with the
Brandon's been the
collar,
MVP, so what Brandon wants, he gets.
That's the kind.
All right. 60 seconds on the clock. 60
Wait,
seconds.
We're going 60 or 120?
Well, no, I'm saying 60 seconds on the clock to get those final submissions in. Brett, if you want it.
All I'm saying is.
I mean, somebody's got to compete with Jeremy's chest hair.
Brett walked around the corner, and all I got to say is, good thing he's not wearing basketball shorts.
Brett's happy he left his gray sweatpants at home. Gray sweatpants at home. Does it still work, though, even if you get snipped? I don't know. We got another entry, I think.
Yep.
Nico, how much to get a tattoo of Chugs laying on a fur rug on the other leg? So you're telling. I'll say this right now.
$12K?
I'll say this right now. If I get to keep the money, okay? And if I were to get it, I'd have to put it. I'd have to put it on my. I'd probably put it up on my thigh a little bit. So if I wore shorts, all you would see is Jeremy's heels.
I'm just saying, Alex is never gonna do a certain thing to you ever again if you have my face on your upper thigh.
You're probably not wrong.
At that point, is it At that point, is it a threesome or?
All right, so the back of the kneecap. That way I can hide it. That way.
But apparently that one hurts the worst.
It does hurt the worst. I'm more worried about me being able to do something to myself if you're sitting there on my thigh. I got to wipe it off your face every time. I mean, that's a nightmare. That's a disaster.
Because you're a classic man.
Exactly. Exactly. If I get to keep it, if I get to keep the money, if somebody sent in a $10K Venmo and I get to keep it, I would get a tattoo of Jeremy on my thigh. What is it?
On a fur rug.
On a fur rug? Let's do it. Let's do it.
What kind of animal? Lion? You could do like a bronco.
I don't want a bronco on my leg. I feel like a bear makes the most sense. I feel like a bear makes the most sense. Die Hard Raiders fan report says no way that happens. Yeah, you know what? You never know. That's the crazy part about this fan base.
Let's get to this race.
I agree. Looks like we're going a minute 20. 60, so...
A minute, 120 seconds
Yeah.
is a minute 30.
No, it's not.
How many seconds are in a minute?
Wait.
120 seconds.
Yeah, it's 120 seconds.
That's 2 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are you talking about? I was going to say, there's no way that I've been doing math wrong for 30 years. This simple of a math. All right, so we got a 2-minute duck race. If you don't know what a duck race is, it's about to change your life.
It's a race with ducks.
It's about to change your life.
If you don't know what a duck race is, it's a race with ducks.
It's about to change your life. All right, so essentially, every single person that has sent in a $10 super chat today, your duck is on that starting line, okay? Whoever finishes in first place, you get a Raiders Report jersey courtesy of Brandon Jasper. So when this thing gets going, I'm telling you right now, you guys are going to love it, and you're going to regret not getting in this duck
do you want to
race.
be our starting race person? This is how you do it. You got to say, Ducks, start your engines in 3, 2, 1, go. And then I'll start it, all right? Okay. Trace. Ladies and gentlemen, Ducks, start your engine.
Quack, 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 quack.
Quack, 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 quack. In 3, 2, 1, quack.
All right. Out to an early lead here up the middle. You can see John Scheffler on the bottom. Watch out for Gaines. Oh, here comes Sean Irish in the front. Oh, look out for Swagger. David fourth in the front. Emerson. We got a three-way in the beginning, just the way Swagger and Emerson like it. Watch out for DeVale, 35 in the back. Watch out for Just Win, baby. Luis Rodriguez, name to keep in mind.
Chuck Baker coming along the side.
Chuck Baker starting to pull away. Is he going to pull away in this one? Watch out for Q. David, take it. Chuck Baker. Who's going to catch him? J Raider 84. Pulling up from the behind. Raider, watch out for Win. Jesus on the bottom. Garen Edwards pulling up. Minute 15 to go.
Scheffler's losing steam.
Oh, Scheffler blew his load way too soon. It's probably because our shirts are off. What up, Garen Edwards starting to fall back. Watch out for Win, baby, 7906. PG.
Nuts.
These nuts pulling up from Adon Ventura. The man Q, J Raider 84. A minute to go in this race. Luis Rodriguez right now has got the lead. Husker Raider, though, don't sleep on him. Nicholas the Frat Man. Well, then Kilo starting to fall back. Sean Baker. Kreischer. Watch out for Kreischer. D. Mendy says, don't sleep on me. Raider Ryan. Starting to pull him. Sherilyn Collins, watch out.
Husker Raider.
D. Mendy, Raider Ryan right now has the lead. It's a race between Husker Raider Ryan pulling away. Winner gets a jersey here on the Raiders Report. D. Mendy falls back.
Oh!
They're losing juice.
A big gust of wind.
Chuck Baker, 10 seconds left. That guy Ryan. Classic man Q. This is coming. Sherry Lynn. That guy Ryan. Sherry Lynn, but wait.
Oh, no.
Luis.
Just win, baby.
Just Win, baby, 7906. Just Win, baby, 7906 with the win.
Wow. Second to last person to join the duck race.
Oh.
Just Win, baby, 7906.
Just Win, baby, 7906. What a win.
Oh, my goodness.
They wanted it more. They just simply wanted it more.
Wow. It's just about giving the shit, Mitch.
Just win, baby. 7906. What a win. What a win. Wow.
Is that the best race I've had?
I don't know. We've had a few legendary ones. I'll tell you this. I feel like I just ran a race. I'm exhausted.
That was intense.
I agree. Oh, man. Post-game Ducks speech.
I mean, just win, baby, 7906. You were just here a second ago. Are you in the chat?
I'm exhausted. I'm not going to lie.
If so, if you are in the chat, make sure to hit me up on Twitter.
Jeremy Chugs on Twitter.
Or if you're in the chat, you can tell me right now.
What jersey you want? You do have 24 hours to claim your prize.
Oh,
there
he is in the chat.
There he is.
All right, message me on Twitter at Jeremy Chugs. Just win, baby, 7906. Or if you want a super chat, $2 super chat, let us know what you want. Tell us, give us like 5 or 6 numbers.
I need 5 or 6 numbers at this point. Black or white jersey, and then what you want.
Yeah, 10 characters.
10 characters or less. Correct. I feel like
he said, yes, I'm her.
Yep. Okay. I would say 79 is available. I don't know if 6 is available. I'd have to double check. Don't know why y'all needed to show them TDs.
I mean, why not?
Brandon wanted to show them TDs, man. Shout out to Brandon Jasper, today's MVP. All right, y'all. I think we're going to get out of here today. I think all y'all have seen enough of this shirtless act. Put your shirts back on for the love of God from I'm Punchy.
Kelly Clarkson!
Oh, dude, what a photo finish. All right, y'all. Chat Sports needs a duck race channel. The Duck Race Report?
Dude, this reminds me, peak COVID, there was a guy on
Marble
YouTube
races.
who did marble racing.
Marble races.
Is this the new marble racing?
This might be. This might be. Brandon, we torture them, not us. Oh, man. You know what? Brandon's always down to have a good time. Sherry Lynn, I kind of like the no shirt. See, we got one person in here who's okay with it. One person who's okay with it. I appreciate it.
I do need some more sun. It's just been so hot.
It has been hot.
We live in Dallas, Texas.
Yep.
Whenever I get home from work, it's like 108. I don't want to go outside.
Hey, man,
And whenever I do walk, it's in the morning and the sun's not up.
I hear you.
Because it's too hot.
I hear you.
Mitch,
I tan
I don't know how
easily.
you're so tan.
I tan easily. I do.
Do you use bronzer?
Like tanning oil?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you use spray tan or fake tan?
So Alex has this like banana boat SPF 15.
Mm-hmm.
Put that all over. You're good to go. That's all you need. But you got to be careful on tattoos because they get really hot. So that I try to be safe.
Yeah.
Though don't tell my dermatologist that. So, yeah. Mitch tans at the gym.
Matt Chug's rocking that away jersey 24/7.
Oh, Matt, that's a legendary one. I love that. As always, thank you always. You put a smile on a lot of faces. Brandon, you put a smile on a lot of y'all's faces. $750 each from Mount Raidermore to get that tattoo. Matt's not quite mathing. As always, thanks. Always put a smile on a lot of faces. You know what, Chugs, let's leave this super chat up, and this is how we're going to end the show. I want all of y'all to say thank you to Brandon Jasper, say thank you to the Great Tuna. He's done a lot of crazy shit on this show over the past few days, and I think he does this because he knows how much this show means to a lot of people, and he's right. This show's about smiles, right? Like, I want people to know that every single time they tune in on the Raiders Report, they're going to have a good time. You might see some weird shit, but you're going to have a good time. So on behalf of me,
Yeah.
on behalf of the away team,
Yeah.
on behalf of Brandon Jasper, I want you all to have a great night. Next time you're going to see Chugs and I live here on the Raiders Report. It's going to be Thursday when the Eagles and Vikings play. We'll get that show started about an hour before kickoff. It's going to be Thirsty Thursday, so hopefully y'all pull up. Brandon.
Oh! I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's all love. Brandon, have a hell of a night, nation. I love you. We'll see you guys Thursday.